It's... Welcome to Pop Culture Minefield Saturday Morning Fun Time. This is Zax telling you to get those breakfast bowls ready because away we go! Go! I liked what I did to his voice. Go! Anyway, that was that class. I love that fucking opening, dude. I have fun doing our intros. One of my favorite things to do is like, I don't want to talk on the show. I just want to go do intros and video funny things. Kyle gets to do all the cool shit where he just talks about stuff. Me, I got to host a show and act like I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Good luck.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I want you guys to know that this guy next to me here, Nathan, that's Nathan Cheever. He's an asshole. Nobody likes him. But I've been friends with, I know, but he's been a friend of mine for a long fucking time. I met him in 97, and he helped me build BladeZone.com, the Blade Runner fan club, to the website it is. Nathan also was with me at the horrific Millennium Expo under Joe Parrington. God, what a fiasco it was. But look at the fun we had. That was almost everybody from Blade Zone right there. You got on the far left, Patrick Parenteau. Next to him with the bald head, that's Michael Mancini. In the front there, that's our good buddy, Aaron Brinkley. The guy in front of you, Nathan, I always forget his name, but he was a really nice guy. He was not really part of Blade Zone, but he helped us that day. And just a really sweetheart of a guy. And then, of course, there's that fiery-haired fucking Viking guy in the back, slightly taller than me at 6'4". That's Nathan Cheever. And ignore the bald guy in the back. On the right, that's me. I was trying a new look, and it didn't work. I looked like Uncle Fester. And the gentleman holding the book in the front, of course, is movie actor, TV actor, Bill Sanderson. And he bought my book for some reason that I did the artwork for. And on the far right there is the oldest Blade Runner fan in the world. That's Gary Willoughby. He took over BladeZone.com and is still running it, even though we did have the talk the other day going, hey, look, man, you're not an eternal. You need to make a will. Who's going to take over Blade Zone when you're gone? And it's not going to be me. I'm done. I was done in 2002. We got to find somebody that's going to take care of that website and keep it going long past all of our lives. But while Nathan was helping me build Blade Zone early on,
we had two different websites running. I had mine and you had yours, which was Repli.
Well, originally in 95, it was Replicant City over on Angel Fire.
Yeah.
But in 97 is when I bought the domain. And I cannot remember that guy's name, but he had the first big Blade Runner website. And he left and he messaged me. He says, the community is yours. He says, I'm off to work on a new website called the Internet Movie Database.
Wow.
And never imagined in my life. And I wish I could remember that guy because I remember he was Australian. And the only other big website other than what we were working on at the time was the guy or the students who used the university server. And I think it's still out there floating, where they took the fan magazine from 1982, the Blade Runner fan magazine, and made it into a website. So you can go through that classic fan magazine online. I was like, that was really fucking cool. They never replied to any emails. I don't know what happened to those people. They just probably graduated and went, fuck it. They're just going to leave it up. We're leaving.
Yeah.
I got my diploma. And I think that site's still up it's an EDU site. But Nathan, I want to introduce you to, of course, the audience, our chat, which we have a wonderful chat, including this gentleman here, Das Wolfen. Das Wolfen is actually a close friend of Keith's and mine in real life. We've known him for a while. Then, of course, Pacific 414, who is one of our regular visitors on this site and always a great commenter. Then this asshole here, Deleted Scenes, who's on the show with us, always in the chat. He can't shut up. He won't talk on the show, but he'll talk in the chat. And that's me. And let's see. Sox Bulletin is here. What is up? Yeah, we know. George was a favorite comic. Oh, man. This is sucky news today. This is supposed to be. I don't even have the right graphic in the background. Let me fix that. I have the wrong show. There it is. Now it feels like Saturday morning fun time. And, of course, we got this sad news that George Perez died after they had all those events for him. But then Keith was pointing out that he was dying. So they were well aware of it. There is Zax. What's up, Zax? Hey, Zax, do you know where Martin is? He's not here. Let's see. Dust Wolfen again. Twitter posts. Yeah, I know. And, of course, Brandon is here with us on the show. Mr. Tickle Trunk, regular commenter, one of my favorite human beings, and one of the people who pretty much supports this fucking show financially.
$1 at a time.
$1 at a time. The Peter Venkman side. Who is this? I don't know who you are, but that's awesome. We're all Peter Venkman fans.
Yeah, he's been showing up on my show, and yeah, great commenter. Good to have you here.
You have a show, Brandon? I didn't know that.
What? No. Yes, I got a show.
Pat S., our producer, is in the lobby. Let's see. Let me get to where somebody says something. Oh, Monkey Jeebus is here. All hail Monkey Jeebus. I pray to you every night. Peter says good vibes. Courtney is here. I will not say your full name. I will just say Courtney because I love you. All right.
Hey, Courtney.
She has too long a name. Look at that name, Nathan. Look how long that fucking name is. Nobody wants to say that. Jesus Christ, Courtney. Shorten that fucking name. Just Courtney's Oddballs. Or make them two separate words and people wonder are her balls odd?
Oh.
Pat S. Yes, Zax has a cool voice, especially when I fuck with it and make it deeper and longer. I wanted to give him that Saturday morning, cartoon host voice. More like Moltar, who is the one that was, it was one of his minions that was throwing the lava rock. Does everybody remember Moltar?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You need to get the narrator from
Keith, why are you muted?
Sorry.
Fucking weirdo.
No, he's not.
He's got a hole in him. I can see all the way through the other side, man.
There you go. Courtney says hi to Nathan. Now, you guys don't know who this fucker is. And Nathan Cheever. But what's he done? Well, one thing, he's got that cool-ass thing behind him, and I'm going to make you large here so you can show what's behind you, Nathan. And then I want you to tell people who the fuck you are. Beyond being a friend of mine from Blade Runner. But look at that arcade he made.
Oh, yeah.
Fully functioning.
I love those little mini arcades. They're so cool.
That is so fucking badass. And then, of course, on his immediate left, behind him there is the glass shelf of some kick-ass action figures. And it looks like a diorama down there with R2-D2.
Wait.
Wow.
Yeah. There you go.
Is that Mando? That's Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's Marty's car up there. If you're familiar with that movie.
Oh, it's hovering too. I love that. It's one of those magnetic. Of course, lovely Sherry is here. Hello, sweetheart. What is this? Courtney says, you were tall? Yes, but Nathan is taller than me by 1 inch. Keith tried to say he was 6'2", but Travis, my old roommate, measured him. He is 6'4" as well. He is 1 inch taller than me. But he keeps saying, no, I'm 6'2". Keith, apparently one thing black people can't do is measure.
We're always calling it a way too short.
Way too short. All right, Nathan, take over. Tell people what you've done, because I've told the panel what you do.
Game designer right now. I started off in art, so I was doing art like you, Gary, and took an
Nowhere near
internship.
as good as me, though, right?
No. Maybe if I'd stuck with it, maybe, but I didn't.
No, not as good, but better.
No, it was. I started an internship at a computer game company in Atlanta, and we did a fantasy RPG, and then branched out further. Did a bunch of different things inside of the game production sphere. Came back to level design. Stuck with level design, which evolved into world design. Worked on the first iteration of Lord of the Rings Online, which was Middle Earth Online. Wow. Then went on to do Aliens vs. Predator 2, No One Lives Forever 2. Then jumped to The Suffering.
Oh my God, my favorite game. Remember when I got a hold of you and told you I fucking love that game? It scared the shit out of me.
It's getting the rounds around YouTube lately with a bunch of retrospective reviews, and everyone's like, yeah, this thing was awesome. And so it's really cool to see that come back, because it hasn't been promoted at all for like 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
So that was a really awesome team as well. And then that's the only place I ever did a sequel. Then jumped around to some other places, then went into the thing about video game production is that you work on something for like 2 or 3 years, and then the thing you're working on lasts maybe about 20 minutes in game sometimes, and it only has like a 6 month shelf life. So you sort of feel like as an artist that you're making something that just burns out really quick, because it's not like film or book or comic book that you can then go back to years later, because the technology might not be able to play what you worked on. So because of that, I went into serious games for a little bit, and that was working with CIA and FBI to do some simulation work behind the scenes.
No,
to help
see,
them.
I didn't know about this. So you were a narc for a while.
No, this is all about training them how to deal with being stuck in bad situations, and that evolved into us almost doing a CIA commercial game, working with the CIA. We actually talked to some CIA officers to understand the inside lingo. But at the time, that company was also working on 6 Days in Fallujah, and we were doing a good enough job with the other stuff that they kind of pulled our team to help them out. And so then we became focused on 6 Days in Fallujah, and that went through a bunch of PR issues, and so that was canceled.
And you were saying last night that part of the PR problem, let me pull you back to where we're all normalized again. You were saying last night while we were talking that, because I wasn't aware of this, I thought there was a real problem with the live gameplay, where the mothers of a lot of these veterans were saying, no, don't play this game, it's evil, because it allows you to play the enemy that killed the Marines there in Fallujah. And they made a big deal out of it. And in reality, you were saying that's not the case.
Yeah, it wasn't that. You weren't allowed to play. You're only allowed to play Marines. And the controversy was a couple things. One was this belief that you'd be able to play a real character and then have that character die again, which isn't the case.
Again,
we'd be making up our own characters. And what people didn't understand was that, I mean, the topic was a little too hot at the time, because people like EA hadn't done anything like that with their,
yeah, but we had America's Army, and we had the beginnings just a couple of years later of Call of Duty.
I worked on 4, by the way.
And I've got it. No, I know you won't talk about it, but it's like, was there some inside shit going on here that you had people from other gaming companies doing
For
this?
what?
Sending
Doing
bad
what?
information on purpose and helping fuel the fire to stop this game?
No, not that I know of. There was like Sony wanted it, like Sony America, because after Konami dropped the project, we went around other people like EA. EA was like, well, if you want to do it, we're going to brand it Medal of Honor Fallujah. And then
which
Sony
is Steven Spielberg, so.
Yeah. But there was like Sony International didn't want it because it was too much of a hot topic, because it ran the risk of criticizing different places in the world that they sell their products, and they didn't want to get into that stuff.
Right.
So there was some attempts to try to jumpstart it again. Now, like a decade later, they're making a new one. It's a new team.
Yeah, it's
new
based
tech.
off of all the models and everything that you helped build. But
they'll remodel everything.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, because it's an older. It's 10 years old today. You need
10 years.
Mm-hmm.
You got to use a newer underlying game engine like UE4, UE5, or Unity or something like that. So yeah, I'm sorry.
Even
go
if
ahead.
They want to. Even they want
go
to,
ahead. Show off all your knowledge. That's all right.
Well, I remember the 6 Days in Fallujah thing. I remember when all that crap went down, and I absolutely adore No One Lives Forever 2. Holy crap!
Yeah, Nathan has worked on some really cool shit. I don't know why we're friends. I'm like, dude, you're so much cooler than me.
You've got the show. I don't.
But I've been trying to get you on here for a while. You know that. Finally, I'm so happy I finally got you on here. I'm like, oh, my old buddy. Oh, and I am a bit overly, for a guy who's a complete introvert, I'm very sentimental about my friends. Keith knows that. And to the point that where it's like people have gone, you're kind of gay, Gary. And I'm like, yeah, I sort of am. I even have a picture. See, look, I'm gay.
Still not gay enough, Gary. You're still not gay enough.
Apparently not. I want to say hi to a couple of people that jumped in. Let's see. Alatar, what's up going on? I'm glad you're here. Our good friend Gap Stargate is here. Yes, there is an actual photo of me with my head shaved. That is the only time I've ever shaved my head outside of the military. So, and I had your typical high and tight, not a proper bald head. Although in basic training, they shaved everybody's heads. There's none of that, high and tight in basic training. You're fucking bald. And there's this 30-foot mirror in their bathroom there right outside the barbershop. And every single soldier is standing in there doing the same thing to their heads. It was really weird looking. All these human beings piled in OD green doing this to their fucking heads. And I, of course, being who I am, went, "Hey, Gomez!" And everybody laughed.
Of course, Gary, that would be something you would do. Of course.
Yes. I want to thank Mr. Tickle Trunk for his Canadian 99-cent super sticker. I can't fucking see it. Can anybody else see it and tell me what it is?
It was a poop.
Oh, okay. That is Mr. Tickle Trunk pooping on the show. Thank you.
And actually, he did it 3 times.
Oh, yeah, I see it here. Hi,
it's
lovely
Amber
Sherry.
Herding.
He's Amber Herding. That's right. Another poop right there. 99-cent super sticker supporting the show with his shit. Let's see. Scribe. Scribe Light's here. What's up, man? Scribe Light is him, Script Doctor, and Storyman Jack. I like guys that are writers. And Scribe's a writer, and I like his posts on Twitter, and we started following each other. And I love that he's here today. What's up, Scribe? Hope you're doing well. Despite the shitty fucking Saturday morning fun time, we've got such sad fucking news today. And we'll get into it again. Mr. Tickle Truck, thank you. Brandon, you have become a member of the show. Dude, you did not have to do that, but thank you, man. There are many shows you could have joined, including your own.
But I choose to join.
But you chose to join ours. Welcome to the fart side. For that, for the super sticker, and for all 3 super stickers, and for your joining, I'm going to play 2 of my favorite videos.
Dylan! You son of a bitch.
Toxic masculinity.
I love that movie. It's
And
so
then
good.
this is for the super stickers.
The other day, I went up to my girlfriend. I said, I'd like a little pussy. She said, me too. Mine's as big as a house. See, she wanted a little one because hers was as big as a house.
You know, Shane, what I'd like a better Predator sequel than the one you gave us.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty embarrassing for him. What were your thoughts on that, Nathan?
It seems like a lot of films at the end of them get the producers jumping in saying, we need to have a big CGI fight. Because if I remember, that's what happened in that one. Or maybe that was
you went back and had to
credit
reshoot
one.
stuff, and it changed. Yeah. The effects were worse because the budget was smaller.
Yeah, it's always
And it had Olivia Munn.
He had his friend who was a convicted child molester and had to remove him when they found out.
Yeah.
So like, why would you do that?
Look, man, I wouldn't have cared if he was still in it, but he needed to cut the relationship with him. Taking money to do that was just silly. See, what's this? I'm just filling up Gary's day with poop.
Well, he's definitely doing that.
He's trying to make you popular, so.
That's
I
black
know.
guy
Dad jokes. Dad jokes.
Man, I wish Martin was here because I have trouble getting through the chat. I'm going to have to just rush through this so I can get to the fucking show. I hate this. Where is Martin? See, I'm also a game dev artist. Oh, I feel your pain, Nathan. There you go.
Yeah.
Dang it. Didn't get the notice that the show had started. That's okay, Aaron. I think one of the things I need to do is basically people who want to be added to our Pop Culture Minefield group. I will make sure to post in there. Let me know on Twitter if you want to be added to that group. I'll add you to the group. And that way we can make sure everybody knows. And by the way, Nathan, they call me Gary. And Culture Casino has got a great show. He calls me Gary too because of my sister Luann. I don't know if you ever knew about that because we've talked about a lot of things, but I don't think I've ever told you a thing about my family. I've got a Jewish sister who was raised in New York, and she doesn't pronounce anything correctly. And when, all the years, and whenever I see her, she goes, "Now, Gary, don't forget to give me a phone call." She's such a New York Jew. She really is. Your typical Manhattanite Jewish girl.
Talk.
I always like to pronounce your name Gary.
Well, that's what our friend Nathan worked with Gary Willoughby and still knows Gary too. And Gary came to me one day and he goes, "I figured it out." I'm doing an impression here. You know how Gary talks. "I figured it out. Your name is Gary. My name is Gary." Actual quote from Gary Willoughby. And I went, "Oh, awesome. Thanks." He's a silly man, but I love him. Let's see. Hail all. Oh, Dalek 451. What's up? Glad you joined us. Let me get
the No Gary's Club. There can only be one Gary, but if we get to Gary's, that's too far.
Yeah, I try to find comments. This is where our chat director, who's in charge of the chat, Martin Acosta Santana, does his job for me. Yeah. And he's not here today. I'm very angry at you, Martin. No, I'm not. It's poo, Gary. It's always poop from Mr. Tickle Trunk.
What? Enough about the modern comics industry.
There it is. Now a $2 super chat showing the sticker. Thank you, my dear friend, Mr. Tickle Trunk. When I used to say his name, Nathan, I had trouble because it sounds like I'm describing a penis. Tickle Trunk.
Some people would make that seem obvious
but he says that's not what it's about. So I'm like, okay, I'll take your word for it. You game designers are weird. Let's see. Mexican Iron Man, who is our executive producer. Say hi to Mexican guy. No one sent me any tacos for Cinco de Mayo.
I don't have your dress.
You're
man.
Mexican. Make your own.
Yeah, no kidding.
This moment was brought to you by Mexican Iron Man. You've got a choice of many Mexican Iron Men to choose from, and we're glad we chose you.
Yeah, it's not hard making tacos.
Yeah,
Gary.
Hey, Gary. Zax is saying that Martin is here, but he needs the link.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Martin. You're in the fucking chat where it's in there. God almighty.
But he's lazy, Gary.
He is so not. I am. Oh no, I am fucking lazy as fuck. That's why I became an artist. It's everyone in my family, Nathan, are artistic. Everybody, my parents. I was doomed to be an artist, and my mother even said that I was born with a pencil in my hand, which I joked must have been painful. A lot of tearing, and so all my siblings are artists, including my late brother Michael, who was a landscaper, and he did amazing designs in his landscapes and business landscapes, very few personal landscapes. And Martin, if you log into, oh my God, Martin, I swear to God, all you have to do is log into StreamYard and you're automatically in here. You son of a bitch. Thanks for being here, man. I'm glad.
Gary,
I'm very grateful you showed up, buddy. And now I'm relegating you to the background again. His job is to handle the chat. So now my hands are off of that. I can focus on the show. So I wanted to go back to the Fallujah thing real quick before we move on. It is going to be coming out, right?
Yeah. It's a
Are
new
you
crew.
going to get any credit on that?
I don't know, I might get a thank you or something.
I hope so.
The original producer is sort of guiding it or pushing it, funding it, and then I know at least one other guy from the one I worked on who's now working on it. So I know that he's sort of bringing the DNA that we had learned, to kind of give a fresh take on all the other people that are working on it, which are most likely, they've done their research. Because
they had you guys to work with, was it easier for them to? Because like you saw what happened with Blade Runner, they were going to do that game all over again from Westwood, but they ran into trouble trying to re-render some of the stuff.
Oh yeah, Night Dive, is that them? I think.
That's them. Night Dive.
Yeah, Night Dive is doing the Blade Runner, and they haven't updated in a long time.
Yeah, that was all.
Did they have any of that trouble with this, but because of you guys were there and available, they were able to what's the word I'm looking for? Re-engineer or reverse engineer things with your help, or did they even have to?
The Fallujah stuff?
Yeah.
No, it's a total redo. It's like my impression is they pulled all the research we had and then just built on top of that with brand new assets, brand new mocap, brand new voice actors, brand new design, because it's just been long enough and it doesn't make sense. That doesn't mean, it's based on a real thing. So, if we built a certain look or a certain building, they might be building that same exact thing because it was about to prove the mission spaces that were inside of that. The whole thing about... And
I'm curious because I remember reading that a group that I had some association with was professionally, not through the military, was the 72nd Stryker Brigade, that they had some involvement with the Army coming in to help. And because we had AirCav coming in and we had the very unknown at the time Strykers. People didn't know what the fuck a Stryker was. It was the LV-2, and it ended up being a hit in Iraq. It because they were suddenly able to go places and show up, and the Hajis were unaware they were there. They were given the name the Ghosts of Samara because they would just suddenly be there because they ran so quiet and they had those big ass fucking tires, the 8 tires, and but as I recall, I think I'm hoping to see that. I'm going to buy the game, and then I'm going to still have you sign it because fuck it, you're my friend. And you were the one who worked on the original game that never got released, and that pisses me off. Maybe you could sneak me a coffee. Whoa.
I don't know if it still runs. That's the thing. It's that the tech deteriorates over time if you don't maintain it. That
sucks.
Because everything goes through like DirectX.
Also, file formats change. There's no guarantee anything's compatible.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to do this voice again. I'm watching you, Shanatsky. Shut up.
Always watching.
Always watching.
I must say this about
I love Shunatsky. He's a cool
about
I
the
worked
Blade
on
Runner
games,
game.
man. That's why I'm saying this.
I know that with the Blade Runner game, there's a lot of the old Scum-based games that did get either a fresh coat of paint restoration or be able to be put into the Scum virtual machine.
Well, my
from
problem is
GOG.
the restoration version that they put out doesn't look any better than the original SD.
No,
version.
there was
It's like,
there was a
it's
way
just
that
like
Westwood made that game. It does, for the time that it was made, it was really good. But I don't recall if there was something that was missing that kept it from being brought forward only until recently, or if somebody finally was able to figure out what they did and reverse it enough to where they could put it into the Scum VM machine and then be able to re-release it on GOG. But I'm as a classic gamer, as a retro gamer, and all of that, especially primarily console on the retro side, but for the PC being one continuous long, from the 80s till now, one system type of thing, it really does make me happy that that there are people out there and that there are companies out there that are willing to take the time necessary to preserve the game and either play it on original hardware, 20, 30 years old, or making a DOS box or a virtual environment to where these can be played. It really is good, and I'm glad that one did get the love it deserved.
And if you guys remember, I actually had a show on Wednesdays where I played the game. I'd play it for like 2 hours, and I had to restart several times because I found a glitch.
Yep.
That once you went over something, you could not go back to find it again. If you'd screwed up something. So I'm like, wow, I had to go further back. And one time I even had to restart the entire game just to be able to do it. And I'm like, God, man, I love that game, but damn, that was annoying.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do all the endings, but I found it so frustrating. I just finished the game. So that's it. I'm done.
The problem they've been having with Blade Runner, and this is the problem with a lot of things, is the source code just gets lost or gone, especially because when they got bought up by EA, they moved offices, and it just gets lost.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that happened with No One Lives Forever. They don't know who owns
the
license
that
to it.
one. Who actually has the license to that now?
It got lost between Vivendi and Activision, I think.
Oh Lord.
And maybe Warner Brothers. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I have a disc, but it's so hard to get running on modern systems just because of whatever was the latest now isn't necessarily supported anymore.
Yeah. And that's the biggest problem, especially for games that basically become abandonware like that. Unless you have an active community that's going above and beyond with the preservation, they just fall by the wayside. So I'm hoping that No One Lives Forever, No One Lives Forever 2 gets that breath of fresh air. And from a gaming standpoint, it makes me happy that Squeamix finally released some IPs that they have let languish to a company that actually gives a damn, and we're actually going to get some new games like Legacy of Kain.
You know, a game I would like to see updated is the Thing, which was a semi-sequel to the 1982 film. Nice. And I love that game. I still have it, but the graphics just look like crap. I would love to see an update of that with some modern graphics.
It had a really cool aspect to it, and that you had to you had to control the emotions of your companions, and that affected how they worked with you, which was actually a really good thing.
It was supposed to. The problem was everything was designated. So like when you start to realize it, the whole game, like for me, fell apart because there's one point where there's one guy who's scripted to turn into a thing no matter what. You can take the little blood test on him, shows that he's human. Then you walk down the hall, the thing triggers because it's basically designed that you're going to be alone at certain points when you're going to face a boss. Guy turns into a thing.
I remember that. There was a lot of cool shit in that. By the way, I didn't play a video for Mikey, Mexican Iron Man, so I need to go do that real quick. For him, I'm going to play this one.
Listen. Huh? Does your mother sew? Come on! Boom! Get her to show that.
There you go. That's from Mikey. Let's move this thing forward. I wanted to talk about your guys' show this morning, Deleted and Brandon. Let's start with you, Brandon. What'd you guys go over this morning on your show?
Well, I had Brightest Day on, and we talked about Death Note. Since we are now
The
into
anime
2000.
version, not the live action.
not the shit that Crapflix kicked out.
Or
real
Not
Death
the
Note.
musical, right?
I didn't even like the
Not the
live
musical
action stuff
either.
they did in Japan.
Well, that one's actually not too bad. Here's what I'll say. 2000s anime for me is my least known grouping because I stopped watching anime in the 2000s. I don't know why, it just happened. But getting back into it like I have, this is the one area where I'm having to learn for the first time. And I've only got through the first 10 episodes of Death Note, and it's good. It's goosebump good to me. And talking about it, seeing how it's going, watching the clips, it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, we talked about Death Note, and here is the only saving grace for Crapflix, is that they chose Willem Dafoe to play Ryuk.
He was a good voice.
That is,
I will admit
that's
that.
the only part about
I'm not a big fan of the live action Japanese versions either. I just really liked the cartoon series, the anime series. I thought it was really good. I found a couple of plot issues with it, but overall, I really enjoyed those characters. And big fan. And thank you, Zoe, my daughter, who was going to come see me today and can't see me. She can't drive here. She wanted to wish me Happy Mother's Day because I was both her mom and dad. So thank you, Zoe.
Nice.
I do want to point out a couple of comments that I thought were funny. One, this one, Pong remake. Yeah. Well done. Awesome. And
no.
where is the? Oh, here we go.
That should never be remade.
EA, the killer of games. Because
But
you worked
worst
for
company several years in a row.
the
beating
first
out
game company I
fucking
recall
Enron.
you working for, Nathan. Didn't you get bought by Microsoft? They didn't?
No, first company was that fantasy RPG. That was publishing with Virgin, and then EA, I think, swallowed up Virgin, but kept Westwood, and so it was going to be a Westwood title, and then it moved on to some other things. But after that, it was Sierra, and then
Wait a
Monolith.
minute, you did work with Westwood?
Well, not. Let's see, how did that work out? I think Westwood was going to be the publisher of the game, but the owner wanted to keep working on it, and then Westwood was like, "Well, you know what? We don't want to support the product anymore." So this other company ended up releasing, which I can't remember off the top of my head because it was after I left. Because I left right around the time Westwood became a publisher for it. And that was just through it used to be Virgin. Our producer worked for Virgin Interactive. Then he worked for Westwood. So it was just the way when companies get bought kind of funnel into other labels.
Right. Well, there you go. All right. So Deleted Teen, what was your morning show about? You can talk now, Steven. Did he go for a pee?
He might
Maybe.
have.
No, fuck you, Steven. All right.
The Death Note thing, though, I was thinking about that the other day. That had really good plot points, and I haven't gotten through the whole anime. But I would love to see like a true
adaptation
use of that and the escalation of someone that can affect the whole world and how they do that stuff.
Yeah, because the premise was so creepy, and I love East Asia because it's the land of 1,000 demons. They have so many fucking demons over there, Japan, China, and it's like just an endless array of them. And you get to see them in a lot of the anime, and the demons in this one are so interesting because they're almost like they come across to me like what do you call it? The angels that sit on our shoulder. What are they called? The protecting angels. I forget what they call them.
Guardian angels.
Guardian angels.
Okay.
That's kind of what they reminded me of in this show. Is that they would select somebody and then they would stick with that person. But the one, I forget his name, that
Ryuk.
he, he was a very agenda-driven demon. He had a plan.
Actually, that's the whole thing with Ryuk is he just drops it and does all this shit because he's bored, and
You think it's a random thing? Okay. I always took it as like he was just trying to fuck with people. He liked fucking with people.
I think he got off on that.
That's kind of part of the point of the story is that Light Yagami thinks that he was chosen because he got this book, but it's just because this being that's on a higher level just drops it, wants to see what happens, and he just happens to be the person to find it.
Martin, you're doing something. You're messing up my layout. What the fuck are you doing?
No, basically one of the reasons Death Note's so good is it's pretty much a straight adaptation of all the manga. It'd be like what we want with all those Marvel movies where they just actually take the dialogue and plot beats and everything else, and they actually adapt those. That's what Death Note basically is.
That's interesting. I don't want to rush away from this and just brashly start a new subject, but really we do need to talk about what we are supposed to be talking about and have not talked about yet, which is I really freaked out that in a period of just 2 weeks, we've had 3 male actors called out for inappropriate behavior. Bill Murray first, second one, Frank Langella, and the third one being Fred Savage. And
so share what that is, because I know a little bit about Bill, but I don't know about Frank or Fred.
Well, we still don't know the full ins and out on that, but what one of our shows, in our group network broke down is that was that Valiant Renegade? Who was it that broke that story? Or was that no, it was Midnight's Edge. Midnight's Edge. Our friends Tom and Andre broke that story that it was the young black actress on there who had tweeted or Instagrammed a complaint about unprofessional behavior on the set.
On Bill's set.
Yeah, on the set of the film with Bill Murray. And didn't say who it was, but when I read that, I'm like, well, it's very unprofessional to post something like this on Instagram. Because I think skipped over the process of how you deal with that stuff. You go through HR. First you go to your director, your producers, and then go through HR. And she went straight to Instagram, completely unprofessional. And so what we've got here, what I suspect is going on here, is a movement within Hollywood of some of these Me Too kind of people. Not all women. There's a lot of men that are into this stuff that are trying to change and make life on a movie set fucking hell for male actors.
Well,
because that's what's inevitably going to happen here is actors are going to refuse to work with female actresses unless they sign something that says they're not going to fucking Me Too me in the making of this film because I did something that they thought was off, but isn't any way, in any shape or form off.
Gary, that's
Frank touched the leg. He was supposed to be setting up for a love scene, and it was really planned out. But Frank was trying to say in his explanation that you can never fully plan these things out. And I reached out and I touched her leg. And then all of a sudden there was an army of people between us. And she freaked out. It's a love scene.
Don't most movies have a setup and, hey, we're going to work together. Let's make sure we're not uncomfortable.
They're supposed to have intimacy coordinators now. That was the whole thing.
That's it. They had an intimacy coordinator on that.
Into that,
this
though,
is fucking weird.
What is going on also at the same time? Amber Heard is going on, which is basically the showing that the Me Too movement doesn't work and it failed in the public. So what are they going to do? They're going to throw all this shit out here in the same fucking week to try to distract from that because Johnny Depp and Amber Heard is fucking everywhere, and this undermines all that power that they've gained.
The other thing is that most actors will usually between themselves try to work out scenes with the director and with whoever else is needed for that particular scene. Before intimacy coordinators were necessary, it used to be something that an actor and actress would work out. Usually the director would have a vision for the scene and be able to figure out first and foremost where they wanted the camera to be and what they wanted the movement of the camera to be within the scene itself. Now things are just so wacky at this point that it's getting ridiculous is really what it is. And I can't see this going on. I mean, after Amber and Johnny, after Will and Jada, after everything that's going on, things are just it's loopy town right now in Hollywood. So
Oh, Justin Proper
Really
is
is.
here. What is up, man?
Hey there. But yeah, I think Gary.
Dennis.
Yeah, I think Gary, you're onto something. If I was a person either starting Hollywood or an established or anything, there's no way that you would get me on the set to do any of this shit without having some form of binding contract that basically prohibits this type of bullshit from going on, either going to the Instagrams or the whatevers. But with the deal with Bill Murray, I personally believe that this person who supposedly is all butthurt about things, I think it's trying to make a name for themselves in the Me Poo movement. And as far as I haven't heard of the Frank Langella one, but if from what your description is, that's bullshit. And then as far as Fred Savage, we just don't know enough, but it's probably along those same lines, something that, even just a few months ago no one would have given a damn about. Now they're all freaking out and they just want to cancel everybody. That's really the goal, is cancel everybody.
Just like what you should have on a film set. You notice how a lot of actors and others can't just walk into a film set and start taking pictures and video. I think the same thing should cover social media. Once you sign on to a film, you have to stay off of anything related to whatever happens during the course of that film.
That's why I don't know how she got away with the Bill Murray thing, going to Instagram and posting about it. It's like she should have been instantly fired for doing that.
Well, if Lucy Liu can go toe-to-toe with Bill Murray and not have to go on to social media to talk about it, I mean, again, this is all just smelling of just a bunch of people who just want to, make hay for a while and
well, they're going to ruin it for other actresses.
Yes,
because what they're doing is they're creating a problem for male actors to where they feel unsafe on a set to perform their job.
Yeah,
that it's like especially a fucking method actor. Jesus Christ. Which is what Frank Langella is, by the way, and which is his argument, which is, how am I supposed to do my job? Because I'm not going to do it exactly as we blocked it out, because things are going to happen with the scene, and we have to react off each other.
Yep.
So, I don't know. And Fred Savage is saying, I have heard time and time again what a fucking sweetheart of a guy he is. That he's fun to work with, that he's very thoughtful. And to see this just kind of like, really, Fred Savage? Oh, well.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But, on the other hand, Gary, just to be honest here for a minute, when it comes to Fred Savage, and I'm not accusing the guy. I don't know if anything that I've heard in the past is true or not. I've heard stories about him before.
Well, I read that in the article that there were rumors that he's a bit handsy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's anything to it. It could be complete bullshit, but but
it's hard to trust any of that information. In the last 5 years, anything you hear within the last 5 years is something you have to question everything. Because the last 5 years, any of that news coming out of these, people's mouths, you got to question whether it's in reality or fucking Amber Heard level bullshit, or bed shit.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. There's a lot that has
I love
happened.
Nathan right now. Look at Nathan. Like he's like, why am I?
Well, there's a lot that's happened with a lot of different cast over time, and take the whole Joss Whedon thing as an example. The entire Buffy cast pretty much kept their mouths shut And so while while Whedon himself was able to get away with doing certain things, either being threatening,
And remember, he was a showrunner.
Yeah, being threatening and threatening a male cast member and pushing him against a wall.
That was a crazy story, dude.
Yeah, that's a very
Did you
crazy
hear about
story.
that, Nathan? The guy that played Angel.
No, Spike.
Spike, I'm sorry, Spike.
James Marsters.
Because he was on that dude's show that played Lex Luthor on Smallville, and because they worked together.
Yeah.
And he got the story. He says, I was scheduled to die. Just like Dr. Smith was scheduled to die in the original Lost in Space series. I was scheduled to die, but fans started liking me. And when that happens, the production company is like, we need to keep him. Fans like him. We need to keep him. Don't kill him. And that pissed Joss Whedon off. And instead of getting pissed at the executives and saying something to them, he fucking grabbed Marston and shoved him against the wall, holding him by the throat, and physically threatened him. I'm going to kill your character. You don't tell me your character. And I'm like, this guy's fucking wackadoodle. That dude's out of his fucking mind.
And so, we're led to believe that obviously Joss Whedon probably didn't do anything after Dollhouse. Kept his cool, didn't cross any lines up until he got to Justice League, which I find kind of laughable. I do believe that Kevin Feige has a lot of the cast over at the MCU on lockdown, especially the Avengers actors. I'm sure something happened. And I think they've just got it down to the fact where they've decided not to talk about it. Because given how many incidences and the trail going from Buffy all the way through.
The trail ends at Marvel.
Yeah.
And then starts back up.
And starts back up.
You're like, come
All
on.
I'm saying is I'm sure Elijah Dushku started in Dollhouse not because of her talented acting ability, but because of other talents that Joss Whedon liked.
Be that as it may.
You're a pervert, Shanatsky.
Be that as it may. You can only go so far with people. And for someone like Joss Whedon, given some of the things that he's been accused of, that has to be taken into account, given some of the actors that have discussed certain things. Yeah. Now, see, for that's somebody that's got problems. Okay?
Yeah, I have no question about it. I need to go to the chat, man. We gotta remember we have a chat. Welcome, your Muslim uncle. Love seeing you here, man. Thanks for showing up. And who else? I thought I saw somebody else join. They're going so quickly. They go so fucking quickly.
Joss's ex-wife flat out said, the excuse he gave was
Dragon
behind
Master
all
360.
these hot women. I can't resist them. They're oppressing me, basically.
When I heard about the Seth Green thing, I'm like, Jesus Christ, Seth Green is the tiniest motherfucker working in Hollywood. I don't think there's a grown adult shorter than him. That's not legally a dwarf. And to fucking pick on that guy, come on, man. Joss is a fucking bully, is what I've heard. And
that's it.
For a second.
Look, his dad had problems. So it seems...
Who's dad?
Seems he's got problems. Now, his brother...
Who's dad?
Joss Whedon's dad.
Oh, okay.
His actual father. But it seems that his brother, who...
Are you saying the man who shot seed into his mother?
Unfortunately, it succeeded at that.
His brother, on the other hand, who was the showrunner for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., seems to be one of the more normal people in the family, it seems like. But Joss just needs to really just take a major time out. He's talented, but he's not someone that you want working with actors and others. I would keep him as a writer.
The problem is his fucking family in the first place, because he is literally the definition of privilege. His entire family of screenwriters grew up in Hollywood. His wife, when the article she wrote, he was upset because he would be forced to work on television instead of films.
I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat right now. I don't know.
Oh, it's
Parrot
fine.
Head. What do you mean, Walton? I'm not sure. Who's he talking about, guys? Walton.
He's probably talking about you. But I don't know. I'm just an animated guy. We love you, Gary.
Shut up, Brandon.
We love you.
I didn't formally get to Foley because we started talking over it. I wanted to welcome Dragon Master 360 here. Glad to see you, man. And yes, Dennis, Peter Dinklage, dude. I love that guy as an actor. I really do. But goddamn, man, it's not all about fucking dwarves. Stop doing that. Stop. It really gets fucking weird when he makes everything about dwarves.
Hold on, wait a minute. Is it?
I
is it
want to
all about-
remake. I want to do my own adaptation of Cyrano de Bergerac. But instead of a big nose, I'm going to just make him tiny. And I'm like, that fucks every single joke that was written into the fucking book that is adapted into the screenplays. Roxanne being the second best adaptation of Cyrano de Bergerac's story.
Yeah.
Steve Martin was fucking brilliant. Making it about height and not the nose is really distracting from the premise. So yeah, it didn't do well. It didn't do well at all because nobody wanted to see it. And then his beef up about the seven dwarves.
He cost 7 of his own people
Their jobs. I know I love him as an actor, but goddamn, as a dude, he's a cocksucker. He's a
for his thing.
If he's not in it, no one will be.
What, Nathan?
Well, I was going to say for him, how much of that was him, getting really pissy, talking to all the people, or how much of that was someone else coming in, hearing he had an opinion, and then saying, "Well, for
that's
the betterment
how
of
it goes."
Yeah,
that is. You are right, because what happens is somebody in the media gets a hold of something and then really ramps it up, because this could be a real story here, and yeah. It may have been something he started that was an off-the-cuff comment and then got inflated into this giant thing. There's no question about that. But it's a dumb comment from him anyway.
It is.
But how many of us make dumb comments, and if the media's listening to us, turns it into something that's like, oh shit, I just sort of said that off the cuff. What the fuck?
Well, for being such a short guy in stature, he really ended up being a real big dick.
I'm just shaking my head at that joke, Brandon.
Anybody that costs anybody else a job just because
it did, and it cost
they deserve an ass
6 other actors their jobs.
Yeah, a size 13 right up
shut
the asshole
whole thing down.
Yeah.
Well,
actually, it cost everybody their jobs because they shut the project down over what happened. And
you have to wonder what the opinion was about the upcoming Willow, because that's all about short people, right?
Yeah, and man,
that's
that
Disney,
was something George Lucas really went out there, man. That kid, after playing Wicked, probably had no career in the future for him. And Lucas fucking created this movie that was just meant for him.
Yeah,
and I always wondered if Lucas just created this and said, I have this young man, I could make a movie about little people.
Well, I always saw it as like a modern variant of Tolkien and Hobbit and stuff, because that's
George
like
Lucas
Flash
has made
Gordon.
a career off of stealing from everything. He stole everything. There's nothing original in anything he did. He even stole from what's his name?
Foundation. Coruscant alone is
the hero's journey. I forgot his name now. Hero's journey.
Campbell.
Joseph Campbell.
Yeah, Campbell. He even admitted to him, "I stole your entire hero's journey for my story." I'm like, nothing original from George. I love him though.
Yet he never admitted to stealing from Dune. That's the thing that drives me nuts.
But it's obvious that he stole from Dune, because
they got the spice on Tatooine.
You got the spice, and you've got Tatooine, which is clearly Arrakis.
He took a lot of different elements from a lot of different people. It's not just Dune. I mean, he took from John Carter of Mars. He took from. I mean, the way his biography was written, he read a bunch of science fiction novels that he took a lot of stuff from. So in that particular respect, I think personally, I mean, if you get called out and said, "Hey, that's similar to that," admit to it and move on. but also say that you took a lot of elements from a lot of different things.
The Sarex, the sandworm, and Jabba Hutt.
I got to
is
show
basically
this,
the God
guys.
Emperor.
Parrothead sent this to me. Hold on. I have to show this. You're a prick. Parrothead, you really are. I fucking love this shit.
Wow.
That's my face.
Oh, shit.
That's
about the
fucking
right
awesome,
height, right?
Parrothead. Thank you.
Gnomes now.
Oh, this is terrible. Terrible. Okay. While I'm in here, let's go ahead. We're going to go through. This is where it gets a little sad and dark because we lost this guy, Kenneth Welsh, who's been in so much stuff.
Yeah.
God, I've been watching that guy since I think the late 70s.
At least.
And, I thought he was English. I did not know he was Canadian.
They're everywhere.
I for some reason I thought he was English, and it was because of something he was in where he did an English accent. I think as he fucked me up. It's like the dude that was the butler on The Nanny, because he played Moriarty in Star Trek twice, and his English accent was spot on. And I thought he was English. Fucking no, he's not. He's American. And it's not the only one because like historically, people think Vincent Price is English, but he's from St. Louis, Missouri. Whereas
On.
Boris Karloff was thought to be American, and he actually was deeply fucking British, so much so he had blue blood. He was of royalty.
Like Bob Hope. Well,
he
not quite
fled
like Bob
England, went to Canada, and left Canada to hit Hollywood because he thought there was a lot of stuff to make money at in Canada for acting, but it was Hollywood. And because he started in the silent era. And I think one of my favorite Boris Karloff films, I'm not sure if it was a Soundy or not, it was called The Devil Bat. And it takes place, it's this giant sea bat that's haunting a ship and killing people. And it's a really good fucking movie. So, but anyway, we lost Kenneth Welsh. My gosh. And for us that are comic book fans, they just celebrated George Perez over the last 2 weeks. Marvel did, and they were doing huge tributes to him. Little did we know he was fucking dying the whole time, and we lost him today. And George Perez is one of those artists that had an impact on a lot of us. Look at that stuff there. Look at that. I love the way he does his panels. I love his layouts. God, he was good.
But you got a chance to see all that, which is great because what he had goes fast.
Wait. What was that picture again down there?
Which one?
That was all the Avengers? Wow. Yeah. Including Jarvis. He got Jarvis in there. That is excellent.
So I don't know, man. This is just a sad day. But we're going to try to continue having a happy Saturday. And there we go, the Walton Garden Gnome. That is so awesome. Thank you, Parrot. Thank you, Parrot. The lovely Sherry, I will not show her fucking post because she is the most X-rated person I know. She seems like the nicest person, sweetest, and she is naughty as fuck.
She is the mistress of memes. And Gary, my dad just called. I got to go help him.
You got to get going. Yeah, I knew you had to leave soon. And that, of course, marks us for our second hour, which means this is where we begin to talk about
the show that I don't want to see.
Doctor Strange.
All right.
Yes. I thought somebody would jump in and finish for me.
Yeah, it's a show that I won't.
You guys all suck.
So. All right, everybody. Great to see you, Gary.
All right,
Keith,
Brandon, take
good
care,
as
my
always.
brother.
Stephen,
I'll see you later, man.
And Nathan, great to meet you.
Brandon.
You take care, you all, and we'll see you next week.
May the force be with you.
Yes, said Gandalf to Harry. Take care, everybody.
Bye, buddy. Stephen, are you back yet? Stephen. Yeah. We called on you earlier to tell us about your show earlier today, and you were gone. I figured you were taking a piss break. So I'm like, we'll get back to it. So we're getting back to it right now. What was your show about this morning?
Oh, me? Okay. I thought that Steven showed up there for a second. No, I've been here the whole time. Okay. What was
Why
my
didn't
show
you
about?
respond to me then? Because we were talking to you and you didn't respond. It's like,
Guess
okay,
it will,
fuck
we will
you.
have occasion. All right. All right. Well, I'm here now. Well, it's damn it, Gary. All right. Well, I was. Well, I talked a little bit about Doctor Strange, and there were a number of director shakeups behind the scenes on a number of franchises. John Watts has left Fantastic Four, and Justin Lin, the Fast and the Furious series, he's been replaced by the director of The Incredible Hulk, the Ed Norton Incredible Hulk.
Louis
So we talked about that
Leterrier.
as well. Leterrier, yeah. And
Take care,
apparently
Dragon. We'll see you
Jason
later, man.
Momoa was going to be in a movie called The Executioner that's being described as a cross between Knives Out and Lord of the Rings. So I have no fucking clue what that's going to be about.
That sounds
I can't see-
absolutely terrible.
I know.
Yeah, you ever
But I-
sit there and you're like, how did this survive the pitch meeting?
Yeah.
How did a lot of things survive pitch meetings? How do you pitch in Star Wars having a rock fly a ship?
It's simple. It's simple. Here, try these drugs. Oh, it's such a good idea.
Well, first thing, our writers group needs to be populated by people who are not creative.
Oh,
You know what the most important thing is? Your skin color. Just by having a different skin color.
oh! Wait a minute! Wait!
He is the most creative person here, according.
Yeah,
to
but I got something extra, and I can't be hired. I'm sorry. I have something extra, and they won't hire me. So yeah.
You identify as straight. That's your problem.
I love women. What can I say? Not gonna
And that,
change anything.
sir, is where I draw the line. But let's get into this then. Let's talk about now. Nathan, did you see
Strange.
the movie yet? Yeah.
Yeah. It's sort
Okay.
of my quick summary is it feels, maybe it's the Raimi in me, but it feels like it's an awesome, like, off the shelf video you would pick up on a Saturday night.
Yeah, we're not getting
Yeah.
into spoilers yet. We're not getting
Right.
into spoilers
No,
yet.
I'm not.
I
I'm
will
just
say-
saying that was my impression. It's like it didn't.
No, I'm talking to
it's-
the chat. Somebody.
Oh,
said that in
okay.
the chat.
It's too big of a. There's too much of a vacuum in the movie franchise right now that people want that big thing, and then coming right off of Spider-Man, they're like, oh, this is gonna be big too. But it was too big of an expectation for basically a B or C character. I mean, they've proven he's very good, you know, as a movie character, but he's not like the big bang catch-all common person one that like Iron Man was, and that's what they
Right.
need. Marvel needs the everyday man story that's not into big mystical stuff or big cosmic stuff. That's what brought the, like, if they started with Captain America, or if they started with Thor, or if they started with Guardians of the Galaxy, Marvel wouldn't be what it is today because it wouldn't have hooked people in.
You know, what they need are the Defenders.
Mhm.
That's what they need. If they're going to go all cosmic and make everything big, you're going to need a group of heroes like the Defenders.
Grounded.
Yeah, very grounded.
So we're getting into that territory now. So I'm gonna go ahead and let it be known. There you go. You got your fucking warnings. Oh, here, hold on. I'll even put it across the button. Here we go. Look, spoilers. Ooh.
High tech.
So high tech. This is StreamYard. This is what we give you. We give you these.
I
what
would
do we call
love
it?
to.
ticker banner.
I want to see the Nightmare script.
I would actually like to see Sam Raimi's, because it was finished a while ago, the film, and they
50 to 80%
Feige and Disney meddled with it and had reshoots done. That when you watch it, you can actually feel the transition from Sam Raimi feeling film to something that's not Sam Raimi. So you can actually feel where the meddling took place. And what I like is the way Sam Raimi handled America Chavez. I don't like the comic character, but damn it, I liked her in the movie. I thought she was a great character. She was terrified. She was terrified of what's going on around her, and she was terrified of what she could do. She felt guilt that she thought what she had done had killed people that she loved. But in the end, she discovers, no, she just teleported him to safety. Her body seemed to understand what to do, knew what to do. Because that's what I got from the dialogue, was that her body knew what to do. She didn't understand it. She didn't understand her powers. And I like it when you have a character who doesn't start out perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's got problems, doesn't understand what they're doing, screws up, is terrified of what they're doing, to the point where they become almost useless. That's an interesting character to me. And so Sam Raimi and his writer, I forget his name, that wrote the screenplay, did a terrific job with her. They didn't make her a Mary Sue at all. She's not. No, and anybody that calls her a Mary Sue doesn't understand what a fucking Mary Sue is. And I loved her character. I didn't mind that they brought Wanda back in, because I knew that was going to happen. But when she ended up being the villain at the end, the only villain, I was like, what? What about Mephisto? You know, and I disliked that, because this is where, you know, modern feminism loses me. When only women can beget women and only women can fight women. That the only characters in that film that laid damaging punches to her were other females. She would pretty much, she made mincemeat of the men. I mean, she just fucking, I mean, when she killed, what's his name?
Black Bolt?
Black Bolt. Jesus Christ. And I got so angry because they did a comic trope. You and I talked about this yesterday, Nathan. The comic trope of Reed Richards giving away what the other character could do. Getting him killed.
Yeah, I know.
And of course, that was typically Johnny Storm's thing in the comic books. He would either fall for it, like the villain would, whatever you do, don't do this, and he would do it. And it's like, everybody's like, why the fuck did you listen to him?
Well, I think that's part of the. My impression was that was part of the reshoots. They wanted to bank on Spider-Man, and they did this reshoot thing, and they had to compress it.
Well, we knew that was what it was about. It was No Way Home. They wanted to No Way Home this movie. And the fact is, they should have left it the fuck alone. Because there was nothing wrong with the plot. Keith and I said this. Remember, Keith? You and I said it. These reshoots are not about plot issues. These reshoots are all about No Way Homing this movie. And I'm sorry, it didn't work that way. 80% of this film I enjoyed. 80% of it. There's 20% of it that I either disliked, wasn't happy with, or outright loathed. And when you get into modern feminism, which modern feminism isn't about equality, it's about the depression of masculinity and separating the sexes and saying that women are strong and men have to be destroyed quickly. And it's like,
Gary,
that's not what equality is about.
They no longer say equality, they say equity.
Yeah, equity is another thing. Yeah, Nathan and I were talking about that. You know, that's soft socialism. You know, it's like, don't pull that on me. Fairness is absolutely going across it, which I was raised to be an equalist. I was raised that way by two 1960s feminists, my sisters, Susan and Luann. Luann, of course, when it calls me Gary. Those two, you know, really put in me this belief that women need to be because yes, I understand physically they're not equal to us at everything. I understand that. There are jobs that they're not going to want to do. You know, you don't see women going out for sewer worker. You just don't. You know, it's just not going to happen. There are jobs they don't want to do. I get it because of the physical aspects of it. But when it comes to the performance of work, they're as equal as any guy. and every guy is as equal as any woman doing that job. I've had many female bosses, and I think they were fantastic. Every single one of my bosses was great. You know, it just I don't understand where this thing comes from, and it's sort of what Keith and I have talked about too with the race issues that we've got going on today, which is the work that he and I did as kids of bridging that fucking shit and leaving the prejudice of the past, and then all of a sudden, here we go again. We got people doing this again, and they're creating shit where it's not. It doesn't exist. And I'm not saying that racism doesn't exist in this country, because it's never going away. It's never going to go away. Nature. Every single one of us knows somebody who's a racist prick. I've met him, don't want to friend him, don't want to be around him. I don't want to listen to them when they talk. You know, now, Nate, you used to live in Seattle. I forget, where are you living now? Tell your exact address.
I'm in LA right
You're
now.
in LA.
Yeah.
Jesus, I pray for you, man. LA is just such a shithole right now. It really
You just have
good.
to.
We could probably hang out sometime.
Yeah, it takes you like about 2 hours to drive about 5 miles.
Oh, it's crazy. I was out there right before the shit hit, and it was starting to get bad. Shanatsky, you're in LA?
I'm near LA.
Yeah, fuck it. Talk after the show. See if you guys want to hang out.
No, I still got to see Gary. He's what, up in
I'm
Santa
in
Monica.
Missouri. Oh, other Gary.
No, I mean,
oh yeah, other Gary Willoughby.
Yeah,
Gary, as
Yeah.
he says.
Gary.
I'm Gary. You're
Yeah.
Gary. Shut up, Gary. I love him so much. But yeah, he's you guys. I'm surprised that you're that close and you haven't met up. I wouldn't let you get away with that if I was out there. I'd fucking be bugging you all the time.
LA is a good hub, so I'm hoping that there's events and stuff that bring people over here since I'm right here. It'll still take me just as long to get here as everyone else, or wherever it's at in downtown LA.
Well, of all the guys that worked with me, it's really odd. You're the one I have the most affection for. I don't know why. And I know it's not just because you're a ginger, because that only works with women. With me, ginger women are my kryptonite. But the fact is I don't know. You've always been very funny. Ever since I met you, you made me laugh, and I'm like, that's why I think I've cherished our friendship. I mean, not like I don't cherish the friendships with Aaron Brinkley and all those guys, but you were one of those people that I fucking understood.
Well, you sort of thread in parallel, comic books, movies, and then you get to where we're at
it's
today,
so much
where
in common.
There's a vehicle for that, YouTube and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
But you and I do have a lot in common, and I've wanted to introduce you to Keith for a while, because I've talked to Keith about you. Man, you got to meet Nathan. He's the fucking best. Anyway, but Martin, again, thank you for handling the chat. Do not put Zach's comments on the window. Fuck you, Zach. No, I'm just kidding. Put that back up. I want to read that.
I'm watching you, Zach.
That's my point, Mr. Tickle Trunk. He's an idiot. Are you talking about me? Fuck you. An absolute joke.
It's the Fantastic. But see, the thing about Mr. Fantastic is if whatever he comes back, he's got such a low bar that he can. Well, it's easy to go forward.
Thank God, the dumb Mr. Fantastic was killed in this movie. Because somebody, one of our friends said, they already killed Mr. Fantastic. And I'm like, it's one iteration of him was killed. And
that's
it was
the
really
thing.
kind of gross the way he died, by the way, stringing him apart.
Well, they did it real quick, which was kind of sad. And then the other thing, too, is I don't think the majority of average moviegoers understand the depth of the multiverse, because the multiverse just gives you an excuse to do anything, so there's no consequences. So then why do I care about...
What If series is based on that.
Yeah. But the What If series is its own package. You walk in knowing it's going to be crazy stuff, right? Whereas if you're talking about the mainline movie stuff, you've got to get away from this thing that gives you plot devices to get out of anything. Like
what?
Strange
Johnny
doesn't
Storm?
have the...
It becomes Black Panther? No way!
What if Miles Morales was his
Now,
own
they won't
character?
do that. You'll watch. They'll never do that. Have a white guy take a black guy's part. But they'll flip a black guy into a white guy part in a heartbeat. And I'm like, look, man, that's what makes this fun. Do it. Fucking make Johnny Storm the Black Panther. It'd be fucking hilarious.
Or do a
Like,
token.
Keith
do a token
is
Black Panther. White
yo, man,
Panther.
Yo, man, no, Gary, shut up, Gary. Shut up, Gary.
Actually, what it came down to for me is, what if Falcon just never became Captain America, and instead of being offered the opportunity to become Captain America, became this badass agent, having trained with both Black Widow and Hawkeye, and the three of them just went out kicking.
No sense. He doesn't have the strength.
Yeah, just have the three of them going around the world just kicking butt and taking names. You know, Black Widow, Hawkeye, and the Falcon. That sounds like an even better.
The one person who made sense to become Captain America was Winter Soldier, because he'd been given.
Yeah, he had part of that. He had a version of the formula.
The Russian version, that's right.
Yeah.
And, but either way it goes, it went wrong, and the show began pointing fingers at the audience. And you don't never in your writing point fingers at the audience unless it's part of the story.
Yeah.
Like Twilight Zone could do that back when Rod Serling was a writer, but he would do it in a way that instead of making you feel put upon, made you embraced into the story. And the Neighborhood Watch one with the invasion, is one of those that really flips a mirror on the audience in that story.
My biggest thing is that when you start taking smart characters or characters and organizations that should be a lot better at what they do and dumb them down. Okay, look, the Dora Milaje and everyone that they're connected to could have found all of those rebels. That thing should have been over in 2 episodes. You know, if you're going to introduce those characters and have them use their resources, the Black Panther's resources, Wakanda's resources, are the best resources currently in the Marvel Universe, because there is no shield. So they can find anyone. And to have them walk around like, we can't find them, we can't do anything, that makes no sense.
Right?
It's like, if they can find the Winter Soldier, they can find anyone they want.
Well, here's the mistake that Hollywood makes a lot of the time. You cannot write intelligent characters unless you're an intelligent writer. This is the problem. What's his name? Matthew Vaughn, that directed The Batman. You cannot write a good detective story if you don't know how to write
Yeah, Matt Reeves. Matthew Vaughn is the guy that did X-Men and hates the fans. I mean,
right. Matt Reeves. And Reeves, when I heard my buddy Dork Knight say that he loved the mystery, and I'm like, there is no mystery.
No mystery. There's no mystery in
bunch
this
of
movie.
riddles you can find on Google. I'm sorry.
Oh, to make riddle. I mean, to write the riddle or not create your own riddles is also a sign of a bad writer.
When you saw the movie Seven and you had the 2 lead characters, those guys are solving a few hard.
Do you think
riddles.
that's why they made Gordon black, so it would be more representative of Seven?
Probably. Actually,
now, I'm going to tell you something. I liked him as Gordon.
Yes, I do.
My problem with Gordon was the way he was written. Again,
yes, he's an idiot. You're living in Gotham City, which is supposed to be like the ultimate corrupt city, and you have him go, well, wait a minute, one of my team's corrupt?
Oh, my God.
Where are you living?
They made us go 2 hours all the way to the 3rd act to finally bring up something we've known about in the story. And there's no fucking way Gordon didn't know about that.
Yeah.
But it also was a joke within the film that he inadvertently made. Because what does he say? He says, who's the guy with the mustache and the broken nose? And Gordon turns, and then when he turns back, he fucking punches him, breaking his fucking nose. And he had a mustache.
Well, and that's the other thing. That scene before that.
I'm the only one that laughed at that when it happened.
But here's the other thing. You're dealing with an entire police department that has a lot of corrupt people in it. So the Batman is completely passed out. He is at your mercy. It's not like Gordon's going to pick him up, put him in his car,
right,
take him downtown, put him in that room, and surround him.
That mask
Somebody would have taken that mask off to have gotten him all the way
or at least
to where
under it.
Yeah,
it's really fucking dumb.
Oh God, there are so many logical inconsistencies in that movie.
The situation that caused that in the first place.
Let's bring it back.
Stupid.
Hold on, guys. Let's reel it back in. Let's get back to the subject of today, which is, because I know we're ADD. This is ADD theater. We fucking are all over the place. I do want to bring this back. It's one of the things I learned to do. got to bring it back, Gary. Stop doing this. I go off on a tangent, and I got to bring us back, and it's my fault.
Okay. With WandaVision alone, they ruined her as a sympathetic character.
Ruined, Brian. Ruined.
Is just absolutely fucking evil. You kidnap an entire town, and they are so messed up by what you're doing. They ask you to murder them. And then it ends with, they'll never know what you gave up for them. It's like, bitch, you kidnapped them.
Yeah, they unwrote what they wrote.
You're fucking evil.
Look, there's no question that they should have made it clear that Mephisto was the manipulator in this situation. Yep. Mephisto should have been the manipulator, pulling the strings, fucking with Wanda. That was the big reveal at the end of this film, which would have been fucking amazing. I would have loved to have seen Sam Raimi's Mephisto.
Well, that was the whole thing with Suicide Squad. That's what you're going to learn in David Ayer's cut, which is what was actually going on in the movie Suicide Squad. And to not do that with WandaVision just makes no sense.
Yeah, and what he's talking about, Nathan, is
I know
that. Oh, you do know. Okay, so no more.
It would have been a lead into Justice League.
Absolutely, and
which makes sense.
Warner
right?
Brothers, Hamada and Emmerich, and I imagine Jeff Johns, because I think he was still there at that time.
Yeah, he was.
All were like adamant about, we got to take that out. We got to take that out.
I'm glad DC is doing what it is. I hope it does something just to change what it's doing, because I don't understand why they always go back to the trope of they need to swing far away and make it Marvel bright. I mean, you look at like Aquaman and Wonder Woman 2. It's all vibrant colors, and that's purely to feel like they're going against what Zach was doing. Mm-hmm. And at least the Zach crew had an arc and a vision rather than just a splash. And that's the other part that I didn't like about how producers step in for the last act and say, we need a big CGI monster because we need a big flashy thing going on or something. And that just ruins everything. It ruins the ability for the common viewer to get in and associate to what's going on and not just go, oh, there's a bunch of fake things fighting fake things. I don't care.
That's it.
I have a question then. What to you is like the best climax ever? Like to a movie?
Well, the one I had with my first wife.
Not that kind of climax. I'm sorry, Gary. You now get the curve title.
It's kind of, you just want to have the actual. You project yourselves on the things you view and you associate and go along with the ride. And if it's not a real person, it detaches more from the gravity of the situation.
And Ray, by the way, never plays into that because growing up, Keith knows who was one of my favorite characters in comics. The Falcon, Green Falcon.
Green.
He had a green costume for a while.
The thing about the climax of any story is it depends on how you build the story itself. Okay? You're populating all the characters. You're given whatever reasons and excuses as to why they were there and what the main plot is. Based on that leads you to what your climax is going to be. If you look at something like, say, The Avengers as a good example, it works as a movie because the plot's really simple. I mean, it's an exceedingly simple plot. So they spent more time building all your character relationships. Is really the strength of that film. So that by the time you make it to the third act, by keeping everything simple, you're able to give more power and strength to the actual characters that everyone has been following the entire film.
Because you're invested in them now.
Because in this film, we have 3 distinct character arcs in Doctor Strange. Because you've got Strange's story arc, you have America Chavez's character arc, and you have Wanda's character arc. The problem with Wanda's character arc, so much of it was problematic.
Yep.
And I think that was once again due to meddling from Feige and Disney. They've got this thing about girl power that just really can pollute the story to where you're like, why is it suddenly a different movie? And you feel that transition.
Yeah.
And they did it with some of the scenes. My favorite scene with Wanda and one of those characters was Professor X. I felt that should have been longer. It felt like it needed to be longer, and I'm going to put money it was, because we lost an hour of movie. That was a 3-hour movie, and it got cut down to an hour and 55 minutes. So I'm going to bet you there was a lot more to that story, because that was an interesting story.
There was stuff in trailers that didn't make it into the movie, which always confuses me. I'm
well,
like,
we were promised
that scene's not showed up yet, so I know it's something. Oh, it never shows up
because we were promised Superior Iron Man, and I believe Mikey when he said that Superior Iron Man was going to be in it, and I think he got cut. I think a lot of the characters we were told about, Marvel, Disney last minute cut them out of the film. I think it was a bad idea.
It may have also been that they had somebody originally cast, shot a few scenes, and decided to reshoot a scene, and maybe lost someone who couldn't come back and replace that person.
Well,
do you think it might have also been contracts with, because there was a big change within Disney recently in leadership?
Well, we know that scene with Reed Richards, that entire scene was reshot. That is not the original one that Sam Raimi shot. I believe that was the scene that had not Marvel, but Superior Iron Man involved. Because once again, they could not have a male beat up on the female. And so they made it Marvel. And I'm still happy about it, because it was nice to see Rebecca Rambeau out there as Marvel, because that's the Captain Marvel that should have been in the Captain Marvel movie. Because she was the first Marvel after the original Captain Marvel died.
If they're going to have these characters in it, they should have actually done something with it. So if you have to have the cameos, here would have been my solution.
Well,
during the climax of it, they all, to get America Chavez into place to basically, punch Wanda.
Yeah, because everything is there to push the story forward.
Yeah,
and that was kind of a stop. It was a complete halt.
All of them have to team up and basically, like in a line, fight against Wanda while American Chavez is getting placed, and basically act as shields and get taken out one after the other. It would have made it would have made the whole thing way more than, because basically this is the only shot to stop her.
Well,
and that would have made those characters' deaths matter a lot more than just Wanda's a badass.
Yeah, because
but on top of that, what didn't make sense to me is how you can have all of these security systems, all of the stuff they had to contain America Chavez, and when the time came, conveniently nothing works to let her out. You had to have had something built into that system to be able to let someone out, or to let out whatever. You can't just make system. Something. That's what seemed contrived to me. It's like, oh, we're gonna wait until she's almost here so that we can figure out a way. No. But
I'm going to tell you something. The following scene is so Sam Raimi. The chase scene in the sewers. That was so Sam Raimi. And when Wanda, it seems like no door stops her, and all of a sudden that door seems to stop her, and I'm like, she's going to come around on him. She's going to come around. That's a typical Sam Raimi move here. And when it happened, I still fucking jumped when it happened. I'm like, God damn you, Sam Raimi. And the red eyes. And I'm like, God damn you.
Well, that's the reason. I was just going to say, the biggest thing for me is like every scene needs to progress the plot. And could you just take all of Illuminati and just put it to the side? It doesn't really do anything. And they spent a lot of time on setting up all these beautiful worlds in the background. I'm like, what are they going to do with it? Oh, they just go inside of a big office. And she's trapped in this big glass chamber. Oh, use the fire extinguisher to break it. I'm like, you worked in this place. You understand what it's doing. Why are you doing that?
It's nothing works now.
Socks, I know. In the comics, she was... and I'm not sure who borrowed from who on this, but I always felt that the relationship between her and Phoenix in the X-Men, the chaos issues, the wielding of the power and the desire to wield the power overtaking them, seemed to be really fucking similar to me. And I think they were both in the 80s when that shit was going on. Both stories, right?
I think Wanda was later.
Was
I'm not
Wanda
too
later?
Sure. I want to
'Cause I
say
remember it in-
so.
All right, I'll take your word for
I mean,
it.
Phoenix was early 80s, and I think the Wanda stuff was late
Yeah, it was still
80s or 90s.
John Byrne was drawing them, and but anyway, either way it goes, there's a lot of similarity between us two, and so I thought we should have, if we'd had a little more chaos with her character, we would have understood a battle going on, and they don't convey that in the film at all, that there's this battle going on, and they should have shown that, because in the end, what do we learn? That all these people and all their fucking strength and teamwork meant nothing. The only thing that could take her down was herself. And I'm like, that's just stupid.
But that's the same plot point of WandaVision. And that's my issue, is that she did something bad. She's like, I'm sorry. And then in this one, she did something bad. She's like, I'm sorry. And you don't feel like she evolved anymore, except she dug a deeper hole and she came back to neutral ground.
Mm-hmm. You know who she couldn't take out? Fat Steven Seagal.
He was there to protect the world.
There he is, right here. Fat Steven Seagal. What's up, Fat Steven?
Hello. I think Phoenix and Wanda fall under the Nexus being, or the tipping points in general. I think Phoenix was first and then WandaVision, because if we look at, I think West Coast Avengers was after Phoenix.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So what it happens is, what we're seeing here is, like you're saying with the whole Illuminati, you're saying the scenery. I'm sorry, I can't see your name, but nice to meet you. You're the man who worked on the Prey games, right? The first ones.
I worked on the second one. I didn't work on the first one, but I worked with the crew that worked on the first one.
There it is. His name is Nathan Cheever. Oh, goddamn! I just took the thing down so you could read his name.
Hello, Nathan. Nice to meet you. That was over the spiritual stuff.
Hey, Tickle Trunk, take care, man. See you later, buddy.
But you were talking about the scenery, and they did beautiful worlds when you get to the first multiverse area, and then we get into a bland artistic gallery office building for the greatest heroes of this 818 universe, and they're all sitting there on the throne with. When was it when they ever sit back on their chairs and fell down that big groove in the back? I was hoping that would happen. You know what I mean? Like, they had these. It was all set up geometrically, but it was very boring.
That was a game room, because why put a big moat in front of your chairs? I don't.
Yeah, they're D&Ders. They don't know it, but we all play the Paladins after school.
Who else was annoyed by the X-Men theme being used?
I was annoyed by the X-Men theme, as well as Professor X and the little waves that went around him. I was very annoyed by how they cameoed the music.
I did not. I thought that was distracting.
I didn't mind it that much. What distracted me was how big his chair was.
It really was, and it didn't float.
Like, I'm Picard.
Yeah, it looked like he was up high. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase this. It should have been up high, but they had it on the ground.
Yeah.
And in the show, it hovered, and it was not hovering.
The other thing too is, like, they're telling us, or we get Christine dictating to us, that it's that Strange is from the 616 universe. Yet we're seeing a 616 Professor X, but we don't have mutants in 616 yet. So how are they going to introduce that by saying, when we're told that there's multiple versions of Professor X somewhere, yet we're not getting that? Sorry, that's my drug dealer. Sorry.
It's okay.
I think they burned in 616 earlier.
Get me some Coke, man. I need it.
I got you with the picture though, Gary, because I did some screen caps for you.
I want to point out something that bothered me in the film was showing the animated world. And here's why an animated world doesn't make sense in a multiverse. Who the fuck is drawing it?
Yeah.
Animation doesn't exist. It's drawn. It's created through someone's hands. So how the fuck can you have an animated
Well, if you're religious, it's God drawing. So.
Oh, God drawing. Shut up.
Hey, I have something to admit. I actually fell asleep for about 4 minutes during this movie.
Keith, what was your rating, Keith?
That is just admitting that you're old.
Here's the thing. I had to redo my rating system, and I took the Batman down to 4.5, and this movie I gave a 6.5.
Same score I gave it. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10.
I could not just.
They said, but you liked 80% of it. I said, yeah, but you got to understand that 20% was so bad at some points it hurt 15% of that 80. So yeah, it became a 6.5.
I got
said-
a picture for you.
It's
that,
like you go on a hot date, you're having a wonderful time, you have great dinner, you gate her, you're on the couch, starting to mac out, and then she shits herself at the end.
There are some dudes
shut
that
up,
do that
John.
shiza stuff,
Just
but
shut up.
I'm not one of them. You know? Oh no!
Oh, put that back up. Hold on. Put that back up. Here we go. This was made last night during one of our shows.
Oh gosh!
I gotta. Where the fuck are you?
But-
Where are you? There you are.
He's
You
ready
know
for
what?
the field.
That's your holiday card right there. If they can just put a
Gary
Santa
never
hat
had
on
the
you.
makings of a varsity athlete.
But
Please.
I got your Professor X picture for you that you wanted. That bothered me.
Yeah, I didn't like that scene either.
He looks like he's in a booster chair at a restaurant.
He reminds me of Hans Banana from Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and he's going, "Tonight, you."
Yeah, but this is another example. Not everything animated looks good in live action.
No.
No.
Well, this is, part of what our problem is that we've talked about, and South Park started it. Member berries.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
That they think us nerds, you throw a few member berries at us, and we're like, "Thank you," and we're not. We're not grateful for your member berries.
Yeah.
Because member berries aren't as important as a good fucking story and a good movie or a good TV show. That's more important. I want to be told a good story. And when you tell me a story that's weak as fuck and throw member berries in there, this is my complaint about Ghostbusters Afterlife. That as much as I enjoyed the film, they spent too much time with member berries in the film.
Well,
And we should have had the three old Ghostbusters earlier in the film doing something, actually doing something.
I agree with you up to a point, Gary. With a franchise like Ghostbusters, it was damaged. Okay? It had been a long time.
2016, right.
And with the flaky way that one of the actors was, there was no guarantee that that person was actually going to be a part of the movie. I think what they did was...
Bill Murray is who you're talking about. Is he gonna show, even in the original film, they're like,
Yeah.
he showed up on the second day, and we're like, oh, he's in it. He's here to be in the movie.
If
you
you're
know the
having...
problem that happened? He touched the little girl's leg, and then everything went to shit.
Everything went to shit.
I just think that if you're wanting to make a movie like Ghostbusters Afterlife, you needed to just focus on other characters, and if you're lucky, Bill will decide to show up to set.
Yeah.
You know, now for the next movie, I do agree that we need to have the older Ghostbusters as much as possible, but even that is kind of iffy where Bill is concerned. Okay.
Well, look, he doesn't need to be in there, even though he and Dan Aykroyd did talk that they were agreed to do 2 more films, but at the end of the third film, or the third new film, both characters need to die, sacrifice themselves to
That makes sense.
the younger
Yeah.
players. And I'm like, that's a good idea. I think that's a wonderful idea. The only thing I ask from the depths of my heart, Dan Aykroyd, stop using the Ghostbusters animated series for plot points in your films.
Yes.
Not all of us are fucking fans of that.
That's right. I did not like that animation.
I did not like the series. I did not like Janine and what's his name having a relationship.
I didn't like the fact that they gave the ghost a name and they turned him into a
Slimer.
I didn't like that. I didn't
He
like
lives
any of that.
with us at the station. It's like, fuck off with that.
Can I ask a question related
no.
to Doctor Strange?
No,
Okay.
Stephen. Yeah.
All right, I'll go back to
Never.
my quiet
Go ahead and ask me.
Never
the
speak
thing-
again, Steven.
Shush, you one-eyed bastard. The thing is, I want to ask you your guys' opinion on this. We get to see a different version of how our MCU played out when we're watching Black Bolt and his voice taking out Doctor Strange and Thanos literally over a rock with his blade through his back. Why is it they can give us imagery like that, but they couldn't maintain that imagery from Winter Soldier onwards till now and give us that dark theme throughout while still maintaining what they wanted as a PG rating? Like, why has that not... It's right there. They know it's there, and they didn't do it.
Yeah, I can tell you.
Keith,
Yes.
I think wants to answer you.
He has to have
Okay, it's Kevin Feige being uber competitive and realizing that they had full control of audiences. Okay, You're a part of Disney, but you also have full control of comic book films. You were setting the course and looking over at what Warner Brothers was doing, getting a peek at some of their scripts in advance. Getting to understand how they work. You knew that you had everything before you and that your competition didn't, because of the chaos and confusion that was Warner Brothers in the offices. They had no idea what the hell they were doing. So you could do anything you want, and they did. They went for the big money of getting kids and parents and everyone behind them and going all nice and happy. Whereas, DC gets hammered almost daily for it's all dark.
But Keith, there's a counteract to this. Disney has acquired Fox when they did the purchase, right? So they had Fox, they had access to the X-Men films, they had the access to the darkness of those films. That includes Logan, right? So you're telling me you couldn't go through your whole library and see where it was successful, where it wasn't, and actually branch off a universal story that connecting all movies while maintaining literally a baseline of enough darkness that it triggers the adult comic book kid and the other kids who are getting flashing lights and everything, and push it all the way through. As much as Feige has the audiences, you only have the audience as much as your activism isn't being shoved in your face.
Okay, wait. Now, that then presupposes that everyone that was in charge of the Fox Marvel properties
was sane,
could actually learn anything, because since 2013, since the Avengers came out and changed everything, okay? Notice what happened to the X-Men films after 2013.
I don't look at those ones. That there is no Phoenix movie.
There's absolutely
no Avatar apocalypse. There's no. There's
absolutely nothing going on.
I want to point out something behind the scenes. Nathan just shit on Shanatsky being in Oxnard.
That's funny.
And I looked at him like, "Oh, that is funny." It is, because I've been to Oxnard.
I think ultimately part of the reason why Fox ended up just having to not be very good and do very good is the fact that they couldn't stand the fact that someone that used to get them coffee is now running not only a competing franchise, is doing it better than they ever did. And that I'm talking about Kevin Feige, because he started out low man on the totem pole. So okay, his job during
under a Rod and
his actual job for the first X-Men film was to make sure, according to the script doctor, was to make sure that Bryan Singer actually showed up. So, and he did a good job. Bryan Singer completed the movie on time and under budget, so he did a really good job.
Nathan, you read that comment?
But the thing is that for the rest of the time that they had all of that stuff, they were just going so many different directions and not understanding basic story structure and not really building a world. By the time you get to X-Men First Class, while it's not very faithful to the comics, it at least is an attempt to do something. And they couldn't even keep that going.
See, that's the whole thing, though. Like a lot of people, I don't know if you've watched the '90s cartoon or in the comics, are big fans of the Phoenix, the Shouty. I can never say their name right. That whole trilogy. The whole Phoenix story of Jean Grey being inhabited by a celestial being or a Nexus being, depending on the universe, is hands down the best thing. Because not only are you having the X-Men trying to save Jean Grey, but you're opened up to the whole universe.
And that also crosses over to what I brought up a few minutes ago, that this is how they should have played Wanda, with that chaos of fighting something, trying to control her. There was a story.
That's the other thing, Gary, that actually relates to that. We find out early in the film that Wanda is actually literally rune tattooing these demons. Why isn't she still using these demons throughout the whole movie at the same time? She could have said demons after all these guys. You could have had battles with the Illuminati and demons while she's chasing down Chavez, and literally Doctor Strange and Chavez could be running through different multiverse portals the whole time, and we actually get some madness rather than, hey guys, watch me climb out of this gong for 5 minutes.
Everybody, Fat Steven. Everybody, Fat Steven.
That would require creativity, and we know we can't have that.
Six says that we're having a Mead Radio raid. I hope part of that is Tom popping in.
I really
from the
did.
next Edge.
Phoenix Force can suck it. Sorry, sorry, Gospel. I hate people getting different parts of the Phoenix Force like it's the Power Rangers. Screw that. God damn that! No. Phoenix was a protector of the crystal that was cracked, and they actually had to go in there and seal it to protect from her brother. It was not a force. Man. It's not like SPD Power Ranger Space Force. Fuck that.
No, you're just making me think of something way cooler. What if they actually, because they actually introduced the X-Men, what if they actually had to get Phoenix to fight Wanda? And like
that would need the X-Men though.
Fucking Emcron crystal.
Yeah, but that's the problem though. That would have to introduce the X-Men. The fact of the matter is, Phoenix was only introduced within, like, I think media, depending on television, was through the animated series. And since Fox X-Men aren't existing in this universe, from what we know, as well as they're not in the MCU, you cannot introduce an X-Men character like the Phoenix into the universe without any backstory telling. No offense to normies, y'all fucking stupid. You're not gonna know what the fuck's going on. I'm being serious here because that's the way to look at it. They try to dumb it down for all normies. And if you go, Phoenix, what's that? You're automatically going to take your head away from the movie and you're going to go on your phone and try to figure out in the theater who Phoenix is so you get a basic understanding. Don't want your audience lost.
Pat Steven, everybody. Let's give it up.
You need a drink after that, man. I think, that's like
fantastic.
That marathon, man.
But Fantastic Four is different. But they also introduced a fan favorite that had multiple meanings, saying like, "Hey fans, you asked for this guy. Now he's a pull and peel."
Just the opinions of Fat Steven Seagal are not those of Pop Culture Minefield, because Pop Culture Minefield is even meaner.
Get out of my mind!
No. But that's it though. That's the way people look at it. Like a lot of people love Krasinski, Krasinski, whatever his name was, right? But at the same time, it was probably Marvel also bitch slapping, going, "Hey, we're listening to you, but we're going to take it away from you."
Test running him to see what the audience thinks. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm wondering if that's why the director left, because Krasinski wants more control if he wants to be a part of this.
Okay, in that
he does. Because look, now Script Doctor and I do not agree on this, because Script Doctor hates Krasinski. He can only play one character. I'm not going to say he hates him. He just doesn't like him. I think he's more versatile than Script Doctor gives him credit for. I liked him as Jack Ryan season 1. Did not like him as Jack Ryan season 2. I liked him in the movie he directed, The Quiet or whatever it was called. Quiet Place. He wasn't talking. It was almost all physical acting. It was, I thought he did a good job. I think he's like many actors who become popular. He plays one character. It's him. Mm-hmm. It's a version of who he is. So, but I'm okay with that because I like him because he has the personality I want for Reed Richards.
Yeah.
With Fantastic Four, they have to update it. They keep going back to the Atomic 60s family, and that's what they represented it. And what should they represent today that makes it that make players want to invest inside of these characters? I don't know.
I think it's possible to update that version of the family. You don't have to make it a radical updating, though. What it is that first and foremost, you have to make it a family. You can't make them individuals. That has been the mistake that they've made with every different version. It's individuals. We're going to put these 4 people together. And they've always focused on them as being superheroes, which to a point they are, but they're more adventurers. They don't have any identities to protect. They are living every part of their lives. There's nothing where they have to go and I got to change because nobody can know who I am. That's not who these guys are. They're having fun, and they are the protectors of the world. And up until the Avengers arrived on the scene, they were the celebrity group. And technically they still are. They are the ones for whom everyone in the general public can identify with. Because they are living and they're out there to help the world.
Except Reed, because Reed's kind of a massive prick.
Well, I mean, from the average person on the ground, you're not, you don't see that side of him. Reed is supposed to be the smartest guy in the world. And he is, technically. You know who Sue is, you know who Ben is, and of course Johnny's being a much younger guy.
What makes him also a dick is because of the fact that he knows he's the smartest guy in the room. And often the people that get stuck being the smartest guy in the room, knowing they're the smartest guy in the room, they're going to make decisions for other people.
Yeah.
And that's what makes him a dick, is that he pretty much assumes that he knows better than anybody else.
And with Johnny's just a young kid. He is a kid. If you're going to recast the Fantastic Four, you've got to make Johnny a kid. No more of this hiring somebody that looks like they're older than Sue. You know, Sue kind of sort of raised her brother. Okay, you have to have someone.
Azrael Dux has a good question here. Welcome, Azrael. Do you think this means Emily Blunt is definitely going to be Sue, and will John K. direct it? He's right now. The word is that he is directing it, and if he's directing it, we were all pulling. I'm a big fan of Emily Blunt, and I thought she would make a good Sue Storm.
You know what's sad? I just remembered Emily Blunt was originally cast to be the Black Widow, and she only couldn't make it because was contractually obliged to do Gulliver's Travels.
Well, I'm kind of glad, because I don't think she would have been as good.
Well, no, but Multiverse of Madness, she could have been an alternative Black Widow.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I don't know if they would go that route, just because think how much strain it would be on that relationship to do like multiple movie contracts. So I don't know if she'll be in on it or not.
Yeah,
it'd be nice, but I don't know.
All right, I want to show a picture here. Once again, more proof of how gay my son is. Add stream. There you go. Posing in front of, I think that's Mary, Queen Mary.
Yeah.
With roses. And then, if that's not enough for you, let's skip to the next photo. Boom.
we're reaching much more in the positive levels of the homo. We're getting closer to gay enough.
I think. Look, my son is gay. He is gay as fuck. And he's been on our show. I fucking love him.
And things could get gayer.
Well, it could be that gay. As I always say, I'm gay for this show. But I want to get Ben back on the show. He is so fucking funny. When we had that He-Man moment where I said, "Come on, Ben, even you have to admit that fucking promo is gay as shit," and he goes, "Yeah, it was pretty gay." With the music, "I Need a Hero." Do you remember that?
Yeah. Right now we've entered a period with the MCU where things are not going the way that they should. I think there's not so much that they're panicking, but it has become very noticeable that Phase 4 has not gone the way.
There is too much legislature going on behind the scenes at Disney right now.
Yeah.
It's impacting everything at Marvel. Look, Kevin was woke. He's always been woke. But the fact is, he knew how to make good comic book movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, Phase 4 comes around and it starts to stink. And I put a lot of this on pressure coming from Disney.
And Victoria.
People, Victoria Alonso, the president of DC. If you don't know who that is, go check her out. She's a problematic person.
Well,
if Kevin Feige leaves, here's the big fear a lot of us have. She'll be in charge. Yeah. And if she gets in charge of Marvel, it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah, you might as well just
it's gone. It's just not going to happen.
It's been good.
If he keeps his head on his shoulders and does this 10-year arc planning, I'm assuming, since he's a true comic book fan, that might.
The Russo said there's no plan, no real plan.
But I know, but that's because they mix and match. But they have to do that now. I mean, if they just go by the cuff, they're going to be susceptible to whatever the currents are 2 or 3 years before the thing comes out, and then that idea might be just dead weight by the time it comes out.
Hence, Phase 4. They're already doing this shit. And they're still making money. So why change?
Well, we know that they were aware that Phase 4 was going to fail, and the proof in the pudding, absolute proof, was that they began promoting Phase 5 before Phase 4 launched, because they're like going, Phase 4 is going to be, but hey, look what's coming in Phase 5. So survive Phase 4 with us, and this is what you get with Phase 5. So when you see that, because that's against everything in marketing. You don't do that.
Well, on top of that, it was poor
unless
planning.
you know it's a legitimate fail. And the only thing that didn't fail in Phase 4 was Spider-Man: No Way Home.
That's it.
I'm hoping this film makes its money back. I really do, because it's got good rating. It's like 88% on for fans, not audiences, not the critics. Never trust critics.
No.
Look to see what the audience say, and 88% of the audience is enjoying this film so far.
The other thing is like we see it also. It was actually a nod when we saw how Vision and ended up in WandaVision. We haven't seen Vision since, because that, in a way, it's a setup that it's going to be used as the main protagonist of how West Coast Avengers will pop into effect, and this will probably be after or during the Secret Wars phase. And with that,
the Secret Wars is one thing that, even though I hated the comics for a reason, I am looking forward to a live action adaptation of it.
I'm guessing we're going to get a tease where it's going to have Hank Pym and Vision meet up, and they're going to start a new team. Because Pym was going to help Vision reclaim himself. Think about it, though. He's the one who formed the West Coast Avengers.
I don't think you're convincing Keith. I don't think you're
I don't know if Michael Douglas will be back. I mean, it depends on where he is in his life, and he's already fulfilled his contract, which means you're gonna have to sign him to a brand new contract, and you're already talking an actor who's
and he
probably
finished the story.
Oh, then it's gonna be his daughter, and it's gonna be Wasp and an Ant-Man. West Coast. I'm gonna crap my
women so great.
Hey, look,
so
I don't have a
great.
problem with female.
Yeah,
that's not. I'm not going to attack it for that.
That's not.
Because we're not going to get the comic accurate stuff, because they've got it all fucked up already. It's all fucked up.
Just like Fox.
Because, Secret Wars isn't going to have a lot of stuff that was in the comic, because that shit's already been explained away. We already have Venom, Venom's not going to appear the way he appeared in the comics. Iron Man is not going to be the Iron Man. We're probably going to get superior Iron Man.
We all know what they're aiming for, kids. Come on.
Ironheart.
A-Force. That's where we're headed.
Yeah. Does that mean anal force?
Yeah, something like that.
And I'm not saying the female thing is the bad thing. I'm saying if Keith is right with the whole Michael Douglas is no longer done with this shit, then it means that actress will probably be the protagonist with Ant-Man to form the West Coast Avengers, and White Vision or Mayo Vision will be a part of that, because those are the only characters I can see that would have the forming. We don't know where Vision went. This is still an untied loose end.
He just disappeared at the end of the show. I'm like, is he flying to see Doctor Strange? He just whoosh, takes off.
I just want to see. Kevin Feige show some fucking cojones and have a male character beat the shit out of a female character.
Thank you.
And still look like a good guy.
Just go watch Punisher season 3.
Well, that's it.
Yeah, see, that wasn't Kevin Feige though, and I did like that. I enjoyed that. But Feige is afraid of that shit because of Disney. It's not because he's personally afraid of it. He's afraid of Disney.
Yeah.
Because he got called out. We know he got taken to the mat this year. You remember that, Keith?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because he took a stand against Bob Chapek, thinking that everybody had his back.
Yeah. And remember what we were told: if you take a shot at the king, you better not miss. He missed.
Feige was left standing all by himself. It's like, can you imagine that? It's like that scene at what was it, 3 O'Clock High, or whatever that movie was with the bully, and like all the kids standing behind him. It's like, but instead, like him going like, "I'm here," and then like all the kids like disperse. That's what happened to Kevin Feige and Bob Chapek. And I laughed about it when it happened. It's like, what the fuck was he thinking when he did that? He thought, well, in particular, he thought what's her name had his back too.
Victoria. Yeah.
He thought she had his back. He thought Victoria Alonso had his back. There was nothing but dust behind him when he took that shot, and it's like, I was only kidding. I didn't mean it.
I did have another gripe with the introduction of Mr. Fantastic, okay, and being claimed the smartest man in their universe, right? And they're saying they're monitoring Wanda with the dream walking, right? So if he's the smartest man in the universe, why is it he has no tech when confronting Wanda at the ready for dark magic, against dark magic? Because he looks like Edward, the bodysuit for Men in Black. I'm sorry.
I love that. Does it look better?
Sugar! I need fantastic
His
sugar.
face just doesn't look right.
But that like there's things
Does
here
this
where
look
we
better?
introduce these great characters, and you know what you do? You make them great until their death, but you don't give them any pretense of why they're great.
Did anybody
It's not-
catch, by the way, Dr. Doom's statue?
Which one? I saw Strangest.
It was in the movie. What do you mean?
I didn't think that was Dr. Doom. You're up on the mountaintop, right?
I think that was Dr. Doom.
What, Wonder Gore?
I think it was another Easter egg for him.
Well, his castle's in the background in Moon Knight, I think.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And they flat out said that is his castle. But when Mike,
he's mystical, so that's why, right?
Yeah.
He's science mystical issues or whatever.
But
maybe it was.
But wasn't Doctor Doom the whole predisposed Doctor Doom and why he wears the metal armor and face in general is because of the cosmic rays?
6, I will be here probably for another 15 minutes because I like it to stick to 2 hours on the show. And because I get old, I'm old, and I gotta pee, and I get tired of talking to people and need to fall asleep in my chair like an old man. Anyway, but no, we'll probably be here for at least another 20 minutes, and then we'll wrap it up. But there are a lot of Easter eggs in the film, and I do feel that was Dr. Doom. I might be wrong. I don't know. I thought it was Dr. Doom.
Maybe it's Mephisto.
Mephisto.
Don't get me started with that.
I'm fucking so pissed right now at Feige for hinting at Mephisto constantly.
Well, did he technically hint, or is it all fan forward?
No, it's physical hinting. The window at the wedding ceremony, Mephisto and Nat. In the animation, there's a hint at Mephisto in the animation at the beginning of one of the Wandas. I think that it's he's really being a chicken shit with this, and it's all over China, and I know it's over China, and China is not going to fucking make them rich. China is not playing ball with Disney.
It's good they woke up to that. Like, go back and just make it good. Don't try to spread it out.
The other thing with Mephisto, because I am a Funko Pop collector. Okay, I have been collecting since 2012. Don't judge me.
That's right. The toys have been out there with Mephisto.
And Funko doesn't make a release
out of the blue,
for a toy for a character unless it's part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So probably they had it and then they just dropped it. And the other thing that makes me sad, I've realized, if you've ever seen the Venture Brothers, have you guys?
That's the best Fantastic Four, by the way.
I know. I realized something. They've made him more like Dr. Orpheus in this movie. He's literally cucked by his ex and in the arms of another man.
Hey, 6, I sent a message to Tom privately, and he knows, and I hope he does make it. I know he's busy. I'm not going to fucking press him. Tom is Midnight's Edge. If you've never seen it, Nathan, you need to check it out. It's one of the best.
I watch him. Yeah,
it's one of the best shows on YouTube. We jokingly refer to ourselves as the illegitimate children of Midnight's Edge, Doomcock, and Nerdrotic.
Yeah, Nerdrotic, yeah.
That somehow their protein shake got mixed and made us.
Thank God I'm not drinking.
All children are made with magic, don't you know?
And that's a reference to another movie, a Schwarzenegger film with Danny DeVito.
Junior?
No.
Twins.
What? Men can get pregnant in that movie. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm talking about the movie that they made, Twins. Yeah, you said it, Twins. Where he says, "Is this where you made the milkshake?" I fucking love that scene. I'm like, oh my God. And by the way, I just found out, I was unaware of this, that his character, Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, was originally set to be Doc Savage. He was
that whole background
and
for
so
that
the
character.
entire background for that character
was based on Doc Savage.
Twins?
Yes. His
so we
character's
could have had a
story,
Doc Savage movie, is what you're saying.
Because he was so disappointed he didn't get to play Doc Savage that he adopted Doc Savage's entire backstory as his. Julius was his name in the movie.
Julius's background is Doc Savage's background.
And I thought that was funny. I'm like, oh my God, that's fucking cool. I didn't know that. And I'm a big fan of that film. I like that one. And I did like Junior too. that led to the breakup of my girlfriend at the time because she's like, men just want to think everything. And I'm like, hey man, from a guy that's had 2 children taken from him through a divorce, fuck you on that. I said, if I could carry a child to term and not bother with one of you fucking people, being women, I'd fucking do it in a heartbeat. Yeah, that ended our relationship right there. Just like, but it pissed me off when she said, you know, because she's talking to a guy who had 2 kids taken away from him through the courts. I mean, I didn't lose them completely, but I didn't have any custodial rights. And that pissed me off because I felt I should have had equal custodial rights. I was a good dad. And of course, you know, the proof of the pudding, because they tried to say, yeah, Gary's kind of out there. Gary's not there. I raised Zoe by myself, and she's a fucking awesome kid. You know that, Keith. You know her personally.
She is beyond awesome.
So I've always told Zoe, I said, you're proof that they're full of shit, and that's why they hate me even more now. My exes. Well, the ones that are alive. One of them had the courtesy of passing from cancer. So.
And you turned a girl against them too. So
I like how you said courtesy.
Yeah, Nathan is like, God damn, dude, you are dark. Like,
what do you mean?
20 some years, and I had no idea how fucking dark you could get.
It's all over your face, you know, when you get to know you.
Oh man.
Well, when light goes down and doesn't
shut up.
back.
We're not doing that song. No, I can't help it now. You've got it in my head. I'm like Cartman. Always look on the bright side of life. Life's a piece of shit when you look at it. And the funny thing is the movie studio used to have that song playing on the phone when people would be put on hold. And Eric Idle called one time and got to listen to that. And when he spoke to the person, the executive, he says, you know, the song is on there from Meaning of Life, that you have that on the thing on repeat. He goes, oh, and he goes, you know, it has the line, life's a piece of shit in it.
When you look at it, yeah.
And the executive's like, really? And he goes, you might want to have somebody look into that and maybe not play that on repeat.
That's a song like it's like a suicide hotline. You're put on hold. Hey, let's just play that song.
Yeah, play that song for us.
Life's a piece of shit. Oh, wait, we just lost a caller.
When you look at it. Eric Idle, man. I fucking love Eric Idle, dude.
Yeah, he's cool.
And as you know, I am a big what was their group called? What was it called?
Monty Python?
Yeah, I can't remember. It was something like
Stop that! It's silly.
I know it's on the tip of.
It was called the fish slap.
Right, get on with it. Get on with it.
Yes, that's it. Python.
Kids in the Hall.
Hey, did you see they got a new season coming on Amazon?
Yeah.
And they promised not to be woke. And I'm like, fuck yes. They're going to be classic, fucking in-your-face rude. And I'm like, yes, this is what I love. Bezos is not a fucking idiot. He understands it. Yes, we know he's a soft communist. But the fact is, he still puts good entertainment on Amazon for those, because he wants to guarantee people stay.
Well,
you know, but Prime, this is the mistake a lot of people make. Prime is not about the free shows and stuff. Prime is about shipping and purchasing items. And that's where he makes his money. His fortune is coming from that still. The membership numbers are not going to impact him the way it does Netflix, Disney, Hulu.
Well, he has a huge. It's all their web service stuff too, where they make a crap load, and they're talking about.
They now have Prime Gaming too, which is really good. So this cocksucker's always going to
their
around.
gaming stuff. They put a lot of effort into their game stuff with a lot of people, but it's got a massive. My impression when I was talking to him, it has a massive amount of overhead with executives. You don't know who talks to who, and everyone wants to push it like a short-term product where their milestones are like, in 3 months you have to show us that you're showing progression. And so in other words, with a game you have to have much longer burn. You can't show progression spikes every 3 months that stacks on each other. Some things are slower and longer.
Well, I think that's where Twitch would fall in, because Twitch in general is a money maker, especially with the opening of their Asmer channel and all that stuff. Amaranth is a prime example, and you have people like Pokimane. And the gaming, as much as it was a gaming focused channel just in TV, it is now something bigger. And with that, they're making crap tons of income. They're hooking people on with Prime subs, with the free games, the free game loot, and all like that. So it's already.
Yeah, I love that. In fact, you're the one who introduced me to the free loot.
Sorry.
No, I love it, man. I get lots of cool little shit. Some of the stuff
They have Dead Space 2 right now for free.
There's a lot of weak shit that they give out, but some of the stuff I've really put to use. And I'm like, that's awesome. Just getting free booty from Amazon because I'm a Prime member. I love that shit. But I want to go over one last thing before we leave, guys. And Keith, you're going to take lead on this.
Okay.
And here we go.
He's black.
Are you reading it, Keith?
Yes. Expected move by Michael DeLuca and Pam Adby to Warner Brothers to take months. Basically, we're talking about basically who's going to step up to run DC Entertainment once DC Entertainment is fully back together.
Goodbye, Toby Emmerich.
So Toby and Wally are gone, basically.
Yeah, Wally will be gone by June, as we're understanding.
Yeah.
And that even though he's got that 4-year contract, word came out of the studio, people were shutting their doors because Zaslav moved onto the set. His office is on the studio lot. He is there. He is physically there every fucking day. He is up Hamada's ass and Emmerich's ass.
This man just spent billions to buy all of this.
Raging.
Yeah, he is.
Ezra Miller. He was raging up and down the hallways. People were so terrified they shut their office doors and were afraid to come out. And we know that Emmerich got that 4-year contract. It's done because he fucked up. And we know what we've heard, that Miller had something on him, as did Hurd and Cernoff. That's why they stood behind him the whole time. They were fucking up. And but we're seeing this huge red wedding take place. It started back in February, and it's slowly happening. And one of the big things we just saw is all these shows getting canceled.
Thank God.
And AT&T put Zaslav in charge because he says, I'm tired of these fucking shenanigans going on. You cheeky shenanigans. Where they're losing money. He says, we are a for-profit company. AT&T is for profit. They are not an entertainment company. They're a communications company. And they don't want to buy a company and be losing money through that. So the old way of doing things won't fucking work.
Yeah. Look, ultimately, the thing about Zaslav is that he in no way is going to basically change his mind because he knows somebody or you're a friend. If you screw up and you cost him money, you're gone. And that pretty much is the long and short. Anybody going to work for this version of Warner Brothers needs to know going in that if you screw up and cost them money, you're gone. So, there's going to be the Batman 2. But if the Batman 2 does not make any more money, or actually makes less money than the first one, you're gone. Mm-hmm. You know, look, everybody likes Zack Snyder, but if the next major Zack Snyder project does not do well, he's gone.
Yeah, he's going to be gone. He is that simple. Very well liked by people, including this guy here, Michael DeLuca, likes Zack Snyder. Mm-hmm. So what we're seeing here is the people that are going to be taking over, that are going to make obsolete some of these people who've been in charge, including Toby Emmerich. Toby Emmerich is gone. He'll be gone by December is what my bet is. I still think he may be gone sooner, like Hamada would be. These people have run this company into the ground.
Yep.
They have destroyed entertainment that could have been good. They could still, like I say, you can have your woke stuff in there. Just tell me a good story. Stop fucking around and telling me shitty stories that I don't give a fuck about.
Didn't they all? Isn't it quoted from Zaslav himself? Is that this? I want to bring back entertainment, and that is where his goal is coming from. So technically, he is doing what Chapek wanted to do with cutting money, but he's still keeping the activism. Zaslav is the opposite. He's getting rid of the activism, especially when we saw how he cut almost all of the inclusion department and focused on, we want this, this, and this. And the first thing to go was Batwoman, then Legends of Tomorrow, and he's cracking down.
Well, also he's reversing a major mistake, which is when Justice League came out and didn't do very well, they chopped up DC Entertainment and put all the different pieces in different departments. And what Zaslav is doing is he's reconnecting all of DC Entertainment into one company again.
And he is restarting the DC Entertainment streaming.
His whole thing
it's already started on HBO Max.
That's right. He wants someone to be in charge, but they don't necessarily have to be a big fan. You need to be a business person that understands exactly what needs to happen. Okay? You can find all of the other advisors and big fans you want. As long as you have someone in charge, i.e. someone who Zaslav can just walk to their office and yell at for about 5 minutes. Because that's really what his whole thing is. The reason why he doesn't like a whole lot of middlemen is that he wants to be able to reach you. He calls you,
talk to that
pick
one
up.
person in charge of that section.
That's right.
You're going to see something else. You're going to see, instead of people being put into contracted positions, they're going to be made czars. Czars are people that you assign to a job to be in charge, but there's no long-term contract.
That's what Disney found out, and that's what these guys are finding out. The era of these big contracts for all your friends because you happen to share a particular political belief is over. Okay? You wanna guarantee that you're gonna get hired again for something else? Whatever you're working on right now better be good.
Yep.
It's back to the Michelle or what's her name? Jackson, Janet Jackson song. What have you done for me lately?
That's it.
Yeah.
You need that. You need to be able to show proof. And at first, it sounds weird that they let marketing decide what should be the next big thing, but that gets into the undercurrent of who's your consumer base that's going to keep this franchise going. It's not how beautiful and awesome and lofty it is. It's about, is it just good and have depth and have variety too? Comic books had variety, had all this wokeism.
Yeah, does it have
in it years ago?
Growth is the other thing. It's got to have the potential of growth. This is the only thing I have a problem with comics is comics don't grow. Their growth is with population. That's the only growth you will see, because what DC and Marvel discovered was comics stopped being profitable in 1974, and they just sort of broke even. What they learned how to profit from comic books is through licensing, merchandising, and they make tons of bucks off of that.
And focusing on a very small group of heroes for both Marvel and DC.
Oh, God.
What should happen is that you now own these huge libraries of comics and different IP. What both of them should be doing is going into those huge libraries and getting all the characters out who would fit all the different things that a lot of these woke people are talking about. There's no need to create new characters.
Stop going to third-party companies to do reprints of your classic editions, because
you should be doing it yourself.
For years. I love IDW. I work for IDW, but I'm just telling you, stop going to third-party publishers. Publish your own classic editions, and there you go. Oh, Dork Knight is here, and he's raising his hand. Look at him. He's such a sweetheart.
Hey, guys. His mom raised him right.
Dork, this is my buddy Nathan. I told you about him last night.
Hey, Nathan. Nice to meet you. I'm surprised you guys are still on. I'm glad to get to join on a Saturday.
This was the last story. I was getting ready to wrap up.
Oh,
I was hoping that Tom would make it for the last 20 minutes, but
maybe I'll buy enough time that Tom will stop by. But I did want to say, have you guys mentioned the fact that today is Free Comic Book Day?
I saw that.
We haven't mentioned it.
You haven't mentioned. Okay, well, hey guys, wherever you are in America, at least, it is Free Comic Book Day. If you go to freecomicbookday.com, I am not a paid shill. I'm just I'm a nerd. So just go to freecomicbookday.com, and they have a comic book.
Don't believe him. He's a paid shill.
No, I'm not. No, if I was a paid shill, I would tell you exactly which comic book shop in Las Vegas I want you to go to.
And which comic shop is that?
That would be Cosmic Comics.
I
But-
knew it.
But if you go to freecomicbookday.com, no matter where you are in the country, they have a thing where you put in your zip code and it'll tell you where you can go. And these comic shops are just giving away comic books today.
Give it away.
And they do it every year. It's the first Saturday of May every year. And lots of shops do other things. They'll have like cosplayers and artists and, face painters and, all kinds of stuff. So when you're done watching us,
kind of gay.
not really. No, if you got kids, it's a good time.
Kids, okay.
Yeah, no, if you take your kids, it's a family.
I swear to God, if I see
family
you
thing.
face painted, I'm going to lose my shit.
No,
Oh,
I would not. Well, I mean, I guess if I was a wrestler, maybe, but no, it's for the kids, man. It's for the kids. So anyways, I just wanted to let everybody know it's Free Comic Book Day, and it supports people like me.
And again, what was
Gary.
the comic book shop there in
in Vegas?
That's the one you
Cosmic
like?
Comics. Give us a
That's
shout out
right.
to Cosmic Comics.
He talks about Cosmic Comics all the time, Nathan. That's why I'm doing that.
It's comic.
Well, it's like when my best friend like owns a shop.
What's your favorite comic shop there, Nathan?
I haven't. I've only been to one, and I can't remember the name of it. Again, you're in LA, and you're thinking, everything's an
what
opportunity.
about Meltdown or what is it?
Midtown?
Midtown? Yeah.
Is it
Midtown, right? Yeah, they're up there.
Isn't
It just
Meltdown
takes forever to
closed?
get there.
Did Meltdown close? Oh no! Don't tell me that.
I thought Meltdown closed.
They had the Meltdown had the podcasting studio and the
I
in the
think they
back.
closed.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
That's heartbreaking. Man, support
sorry.
your local comic book shop,
Yeah.
people.
And that's what I want to get into here. Keith,
Oh.
what is your favorite there? Because I know the one that we liked both is gone.
Yeah, it's gone. You know what? Because I have so many friends everywhere, I'm gonna say all of them in Springfield.
Damn,
All of them in Springfield will cater to your needs, and they have exactly what you want.
And he didn't give one fucking name. God damn it, Keith.
A long time ago, I worked in a comic book store back in the 90s when the big, right before the big investment push happened, where they're just pushing out covers and stuff. And I worked for Silver Spring Comics, which was almost like a Diamond Comics Steve Jeppy thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
I want to
and then
promote
everything
Keith here in
collapsed.
Joplin. We've got Hurley's Heroes in Joplin, Missouri. He is always at VisionCon. And, of course, the one that's in Springfield, too. One of them in Springfield. And they have one here is Vintage Stock.
Vintage Stock's a good one.
Yep. And
Comic
the one
Force.
that closed that made me sad was Caveman Comics, which is owned by a buddy of ours. And
You mean Comic Cave?
Or Comic Cave.
So
So Caveman Comics was the one that used to be Vintage Stock.
This
That's
is
right.
seriously closed. Meltdown is gone. Like this
Yeah,
Meltdown.
Google it. It's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Damn.
Yeah, the opposite of here. It's gone.
That's heartbreaking, man.
I know.
Dork.
Yeah.
The day the lockdown started, guess what? The comic book shop I got all my stuff from, all my pre-orders from, was shut down.
Oh yeah. Did COVID shut Meltdown down? Is that what happened?
No. Meltdown shut down due to various reasons. I was listening to a podcast out of Meltdown, and they were talking about it. And that actually made not national, but it was all over the internet.
No, it made national news.
It did?
When
Yeah.
Meltdown closed. And here, I'm going to show it real quick. This is the Nerdist's coverage of it.
Okay. Damn, man, I can't believe this. This is
2018.
2018. Damn.
Wow.
Oh, wow. I love that shop, dude. Every time I'd go to LA, I'd go there.
This is now one of the central hubs for homeless people.
Oh.
I have no idea, but I'm assuming it is.
Oh, you smart ass. God.
Who was that, Nathan?
No, that was
No,
me.
no.
Sorry.
No, that was you. 'Cause I figured Nathan would go. "You." But
no, there's a lot. There is every time I go to LA, I mean, there's lots of homeless people. So that's why I was I believed you, and then I was insulted that I believed you. Hey, Tom, join us.
Tom, come on! I sent you the link.
Ultimately,
We're getting ready to end the show. Just pop in to say hi and all that.
Just in time for it to shut off.
Yeah.
We have 10 cities now in Los Angeles because that shows us that we really care about the homeless. We have so many of them.
But in a much bigger city, there's always this percentage of just and it costs so damn much delivery. That's the biggest issue. Like I left San Francisco because I couldn't find a house that didn't cost
one
$1
bedroom apartment was almost $2,000.
See, Vegas is getting
I looked
worse.
at moving there.
Yeah, Vegas
it's like probably 4,000 now.
Yeah, no, Vegas is turning into California light, and it's just getting worse and worse. One of the reasons I moved here 13 years ago was because no state income tax, cost of living, pot's legal, prostitution's legal, gambling's legal. You can derive what you want about my characteristics from that, but so it was a good thing.
He's a weed head.
Dork,
Yeah.
I will say one thing though.
Yeah.
You are in the right place though, because if things work out a certain way, Vegas could be the new home to what is now currently the San Diego Comic-Con. So they could move the Comic-Con from San Diego to Vegas.
Which for me, that would
You'd love it.
well, not just personally, but professionally, because that's what I'm entrenched in this shit.
Be a lot more work for you for the marketing and everything.
Yeah. So
Well, they're set up
There you
as a
go.
convention town, so it's an easy
Well,
fix.
dude,
as long as you get
that's
the rights.
the thing. I've never. So I moved here from Texas, and I saw a lot of people in the chat talking about like their comic shops. So I want to get in, and I think my mom is in the chat, and she'll remember because she paid for all of them. But Daddy Jim's Comics in High Point, North Carolina. That's where I got my books as a kid. And thank you, Mom, for buying all of them for me. And I'm sorry that douchebag stole them 3 years ago. But
yeah, man, it sucks when your shit gets stolen.
Yeah,
I will say this though, to get us back on track with what we were talking about, for DC and Marvel, if they really, really, really want to do something that will have a major effect not only on comic sales but positive for anything else they want to do, they should go ahead and start some imprints that are focused on the Hollywood versions of a lot of the stuff that they've done up to this point in comic book form, that they could put out either in movie theaters or as specialty
Welcome,
comics
Tom.
just for the normies to get them into the rest of it.
So what do you mean? Yeah, what do you mean?
It's like a
What
reverse
I mean
Ultimate
is-
Comics.
Yeah,
You bring it
basically,
back in.
you would do you go back and do a comic book version of Joss Whedon's version of the Avengers, because people know those characters, those versions of the characters from the films.
So do graphic novel adaptations of movies that were
No.
adaptations of-
Create whole universes of stories where you just follow those characters. Now, if they were still making that version of the Avengers, you would have new adventures for those particular characters, and you just move that way with it.
They've done
Same
some
thing-
movie tie-ins, I think,
Yeah.
within comic books, little
Yeah.
bits and slices.
Even when Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man came out and he did the organic web shooters, they totally changed Spider-Man's thing and gave him organic
and
web
you don't have to
shooters
do that
comics.
by making an imprint, by just diverging off. You don't have to affect the actual comics and stories that others have been following for years. You could have comics that the normies can buy, that when they really get into it, then they can transfer from one to another. Let's say you're into Zack Snyder's version of Justice League. You do a series of comics based on that version of those characters, and then you still have the regular Justice League comics that if you're interested, you could take a look at.
That's genius. In fact, why limit it to comic book properties? So here's the thing, and I'm going to get a lot of flack for this probably. I actually really liked Terminator Genesis, and I'm really pissed off that just let me finish, please. Sorry, and then we'll let it go. And I just want the end of the story. Can I get it in a graphic novel, please? Like I'll pay for it. Like just give me the end of the story.
Dork. You know what? I have my own thing that I'm kind of like that with. I'm kind of like that with Buckaroo Banzai.
Or my name is Earl.
Sega Genesis. What did I walk into?
My name is my name is Earl.
Novels.
I would take My Name is Earl graphic novel, because My Name is Earl got canceled unceremoniously after season 4 when it ended on a cliffhanger.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Give me that. It doesn't. My point is, I get what you're saying. I just don't think we have to limit it to comic book properties. It could be anything.
True.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on the price point for getting the people to do that and the interest points. But I think it's a great idea because that's something that is visual. That's what comic books are for people, and I think that helps a lot. And it'll revitalize that franchise and then promote it, and then suddenly people are going to your streaming
I
setups.
I don't know. I would pay as much as like $30 for a graphic novel to get the end of the story to My Name Is Earl. You know, I really would.
That'd be great. For me, I just think having a rack of comics in a movie theater for whatever you're about to see, whether it's Avengers, whether it's Justice League.
They should have spinner racks.
They should. That's exactly what they should have to
we've
sell.
been talking about this for years.
Yes.
When you go to see a movie for Marvel or DC, one of the things promoting, they should have spinner racks in the theater with comics that tie into the subject.
You get local
How is that not a
people have
thing?
that.
Yeah, that's got to be a thing. I mean, that's just a no.
Well, if you make your own comic, if you then have your own spin-off group of comics where you don't have to worry about affecting the comic titles that have been going for years, and just focus. Like, for instance, you could have what is like, call it a Marvel Hollywood imprint. And it's just nothing but comics related to the stuff that they're doing, like the MCU. The entire MCU done in comic book form, where it's just MCU comics, and you have those sold every single time you go to a movie theater. And
well, that's why they started. That's why they started Ultimate Comics, to bring people in, so they didn't have to have the decades of stuff. And what you're saying makes sense, and that's comes full circle, because that's where Sam Jackson came from.
And they should. And normally, and they used to. Like, I don't know about where you guys are, but here in Vegas before pandemic times, because like the shit just, you know, like Spider-Man No Way Home is really the beginning of going back to the movies here in Vegas, right? And before the pandemic times, we would have like when it was like a big tentpole movie, like a DC or Marvel movie, dude, there'd be like cosplayers at the theater. There would be like booths with stuff, you know, and photo ops, and you could get your popcorn in a metal bucket that was, you know, themed to the thing, and, you know, cups and t-shirts, like literally like it was crazy. And now it was like, I went and saw Doctor Strange the other night, and just nothing. Like literally.
Doctor Strange did have Doctor Strange did have a popcorn bucket.
Has anybody welcomed Tom?
Well, not at the theater I went to. Hey, Tom. No, we said hi to Tom.
Yeah, we said hi to Tom.
Because I had to go take a whiz.
Gary did, but
yeah, I did it real quick before I left. But I wanted an actual like, hey, welcome, Tom. Tom, I put the spoiler alert down. I'm going to give the warning again.
Oh, that was tits. Can you send me that clip? I want that.
Yeah, I made it. But anyway, Tom, what were your thoughts on the movie?
My favorite cameo is Darth Vader and Howard the Duck. I don't know. It wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be, but...
What was your overall score out of 10?
Probably like 6.
God damn it, you're right up there with Keith and me. Keith and I gave it. I gave it a 6.5. He gave it a 6.5, and you gave it a 6.
Wow!
And the reason I did is that because 80% of the movie was enjoyable. The problem is, of the 20% that was not enjoyable, some of it bled into some of the enjoyable stuff, knocking it down to the 6.5.
Well, to me, it was my biggest problem was it didn't really feel like a Doctor Strange sequel. It felt more like what should have been the last 2 or 3 episodes of WandaVision instead.
That's it.
Well, that's it. It really was, and everybody
or some kind of like Avengers.
We were on Loki last night,
like thing crossover for Disney Plus. Yeah,
well, the American Chavez show.
I was on. Well, I still enjoyed it. American Chavez was actually better than the comic. But I'm going to tell you, on Loki last night, that was the thing that was brought up by almost everybody on his show, was that it felt like it was the final episode of WandaVision, or what should have been the final episode. But they still fucked up and left out Mephisto, who should have been the villain.
Yeah, I was so not that you asked, but I gave the movie an 8. I actually really enjoyed it a lot. I really did. I laughed. I cried. I saw it with a group. Like I saw it with a lot of the board members on the charity I'm in, and they dressed up. And I was really expecting it to be kind of an event like the things used to be, but it just wasn't. It was a bummer. And I didn't even get to, Batman had a metal popcorn bucket. Why didn't Doctor Strange? I was bummed about that. But anyway,
well, I mean, the Riddler had to dress up in a trash bag. That should let you know.
The official Marvel trash bag. But overall, what was your score for it then?
So I give it an 8 because I really loved America Chavez in it. I thought she was great. Like there were moments, like in you got to understand, dude. Like we've talked about, like, you know, I'm going through my best friend's wife just passed, and then being the organizer for all this stuff. So I'm in highly emotional states. So don't pick on me, but you know, I got emotional. I teared up a few of her scenes.
You're on my show. I am going to pick on you.
Fair enough. So I guess I didn't need to overshare. Anyway.
I love how you always you really attach yourself to female characters. What's up with that?
I don't know, man. Maybe it's the
something
father.
You need to.
I'm a mama's boy. I mean,
I know you are.
It's why my mom's always on the. Yeah.
His mom, Nathan, is in our chat so often, and I love it. She goes by PJO, and she is so much fun in the chat. And my favorite thing is she came on once, and it was so uncomfortable when she was on the show because I started watching my language, and I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah, it was for April Fools. We were trying to be funny, so instead of me, it was my mom, and then I came on, and then
But his mom is great.
There she is.
Is she there? Hi, PJO. And she says, "Hello, Nathan."
This movie, it shouldn't have been the Multiverse of Madness. It should have been Doctor Strange, Mom.
PJO, Nathan is an old friend of mine. We've been friends for over 20 years. We met over Blade Runner. And I can't even remember how we had our first conversation. I really can't. It's been too fucking long.
I don't know. I think it was just pooling together resources, saying, "Oh, you're interested. I'm interested. Hey, let's do something together."
Yeah, and I wanted you involved, and we did. Blade Zone became such a it was the number one. Still is, to my knowledge, it's still the number one Blade Runner website in the world. More people still visit it, check it out. And what I'm hoping is, because Nathan is going to do something really cool, is revamp and reboot Blade Zone. He's already talked with Gary Willoughby, and one of the things we were talking about the last time was that you wanted to bring back the old the
roundtable,
the Blade Runner roundtable.
Yeah, I just need to update it into a new database so it's more manageable, because it's all old school, old web school architecture, which is very Wild West.
Hey, Doss Wolfen, I think we follow each other on Twitter. Message me, bro. I will literally Cash App you or PayPal you money if you will send me one of those. Thank you.
Yeah,
an autograph of me? Oh
no, the metal, the popcorn bucket, bro. The metal.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I use those in my charity for like raffle ticket buckets and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that is a nice bucket.
That was the Doctor Strange popcorn bucket. That if you're able to find it at the theater.
Here's the funny story, awesome one. I worked for a company called TruckNet for a long time, and they had the Truckers Roundtable. And I stole the idea directly from the company I worked for, and I created the Blade Runner Roundtable with the idea that it was a place open for discussion and debate. And, of course, what was the number one debate? You know, Nathan. You know as well as I do.
It was, did he have a dog? A
rabbit? You have a tug? Is he rabbit?
Yeah.
No, it was.
No, that's what
kept
the movie going.
Replicant.
Right.
And
it doesn't spell it out. It's viewer choice, and that causes the momentum to keep going and become a cult film. Which I don't know if there'll ever be another cult film today, because there's too much empty calorie quickness with the internet.
Wow, you need to be a regular panelist, dude. You just
Nathan. Seriously, you should.
Nathan, I want to ask everybody. Well, Tom wasn't here for the whole thing. But everybody's got to interact with Nathan. What do you think? Should we invite him to be a part of our show?
I think he should already be a part of it. There's no need to invite. There's no discussion. Nathan, you're in.
No,
Saturdays.
Here's the thing.
I did it.
Yeah.
How much money's involved? None.
Hey,
Gary,
Nathan.
Mom,
Nathan. Let's go start our own thing, bro. We got this.
Yeah. Competition. It makes things better.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm just
Dork.
saying,
You can't do that because you don't have a black guy.
I know.
Look, dude. Yeah. If you don't have a black guy, your show's shit. Shinatsky, what were you saying, buddy?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Shanatsky, did you say something to me?
I said, Gary. But Gary, does your mom know? Yeah, I got the okay from your mom to add him to the party.
Well, if you've got a Ouija board, we could ask her.
Were you trying to talk about my mom or his mom?
No, my mom.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, my mom's dead.
Sorry. Well, way to bring the party down.
And of course, Six is saying
Oh,
Nathan.
cool.
Nathan,
If they
Nathan.
have any more, when I go back to
Six
the-
likes you. That's good news. Yeah, and now you guys know why I fucking love this guy, and I've been friends with him for so long.
Yeah.
And what pisses me off is like people like me, introverts, have a tendency of going long periods without talking to people. And
You just pick it back up again.
But the minute we pick it back up, it's like we didn't stop talking.
Like, you didn't skip a beat. I was at a memorial last night, and I literally had that in my speech when I was talking, because I've known this dude for 25 years whose wife passed away, but because we went to college together, but there was a long chunk of time we didn't see each other. And so like last time, so we went to college, and then I left so like in 98, and then I moved here in 2010. So I suck at math, but that's a long ass time we didn't see each other. So like, like we emailed and talked and stuff, but we didn't see each other. But when I moved out here to Vegas and he was living out here, it was like when we hung, it was like no time had passed at all. Like, and that's what I said in my speech. So it's crazy that you say that, because like it's rare, but it's beautiful. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, that's awesome, man.
Quality
Speaking of
sticks.
time, my time is up, so I do have to run, guys. But
Tom,
hopefully, have a great day.
I appreciate you dropping in.
No
buddy.
problem, man. Sorry I couldn't come in sooner.
No
worries.
I know you're.
You're
Have a great
awesome
day.
just by being here.
Shut up, Steven.
I think that was Shanatsky, actually.
I think it was
You
too.
still owe him that $500.
I still owe him $500. I was crying. That's why he muted. He's sobbing.
Oh.
He knows I love him.
Well, you know, Tom. The rule is you'd rather owe him all your life than cheat him out of it.
He owes me $500. That's the real.
Oh, he's always told me you owe him $500.
No, it's the other way around. Actually, he owes me $498. I think it is, but who's counting? Anyway,
Well,
take care,
I
guys.
appreciate you dropping in, buddy. I'll talk to you later, man.
Love y'all. Take care.
Love you too, buddy.
Yeah.
Peace.
I have to
And,
get going too, guys. I'm up against the hard out.
You got it. Yeah. Did you say hard on or hard out?
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
Hard on and out.
Isn't
I
it usually
wish.
me that's the inappropriate one? Wow. Okay.
No, I'm the one that says fuck that shit.
Later.
It's always been that way. See you, Steven. Take it easy and have a good
Okay.
day at work.
There's
care,
it, bro.
All I said was have a good one, Tom. And somehow that all fucking happens. Cool.
Tom loves you, man. We all love you. I mean, you're one of my best friends.
So, are we still live?
Yes. God
Okay.
damn it.
Are you
Wait,
high? Are you high right now? Because that's such a fucking high.
Are you in your own house?
Look, first of all,
I am a little baked. I am a little baked.
Bye, Mom.
Look at
Love
the
you.
screen.
Bye,
Top left.
PJO.
See where it says live? We're live. That means we're
Yeah,
live. When
okay.
It no longer says that. You're no longer live.
Hold on.
Yeah, and
Let
he
me
really
double check.
does sound like Fat
Hey,
Steven
Martin,
Seagal.
are we still
Oh, that's
live?
fucking good.
Martin, are we live?
Isn't
Martin?
live.
Yeah, we're
C.
live.
He said
I get
C.
it. I
All right,
see.
gotta
Yeah,
go.
okay.
His
All right,
mic's
fine.
not working.
All right, fine.
So I answered for him. C, we're live.
Look,
Martin is so funny
I-
because Martin is from South America, and I was talking about South America with him. Then I made the mistake though early on of saying you're from Mexico, right? You're a Mexican. He goes, no, I'm from South America, and I think Venezuela, and I'm like, oh, okay, so you're okay. And then later he confirms, no, I live in Mexico. I said, if you live in Mexico, that makes you a Mexican now. I live in Missouri. I'm a Missourian. Nathan lives in California. He's a Californian.
You live in misery.
Yeah, the state of misery. That's right. But I was teasing him about it. I fucking
no, so it's.
and I
it's
met
kind
his
of-
wife. She's a sweetheart, by the way. Martin's wife.
How far
she
away
watches
from
the show.
Wichita are you? Where
Wichita,
you're at?
Kansas.
Yeah. Because aren't you
About
don't you
4
border-
hours.
About 4 hours. Okay.
I think 4 hours. Keith's an hour further. He's 5 hours from it.
Okay. Is I guess geographically, I don't remember. Is McPherson closer to you than Wichita or further away?
McPherson, no.
It's in Kansas as well. It's where I went to college with my buddy Mike.
I don't know where it's at. I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right.
The only place I go in Kansas is Kansas City. I like Missouri's Kansas City, but I like to trip over the bridge and go to Kansas's version. And then I also like going to whatever town that is where Smallville convention is, because that is an amazing convention. If you've never been to the Smallville convention, it's the shit. 5,000 people, my first con there. And I made so much money. I walked away with a couple $1,000 selling artwork and doing commissions. It was like, wow. That was the first time I'd ever made that kind of money. And I owe that all to John. And I think that's his name. What's his name? I just forgot his name. Keith.
Oh, I was like, who the fuck are you asking?
Keith.
Yeah.
In charge of Smallville. Is it John?
I think his name's John. Yes.
John. Yeah. He has a great Batman costume. He loves the cosplay. Guy running the place is just walking around doing cosplay.
They had a really nice setup at Planet Comic Con this year,
and I was 600 pounds when I went there. And I am the first and only comic book artist in the history of comic books to break a chair while doing a panel. And not one of the fucking people, and I know some of them watch this show, had a fucking. I think Das Wolfen, weren't you there? I think Das Wolfen was there. Saw me break that chair. I just disappeared behind the table, and then I popped back up. I'm like, did my classic Zoe line. I'm okay.
The chair that they had at Planet Comic Con would have been more apt for you, because they recreated Jabba, or should I say Boba's chair from the Book of Boba Fett.
I've lost a lot of weight.
and you could get your picture taken, and yeah, it was nice.
So hey man, would you do me a favor? Would you put up on you did a Das Wolfen's most recent one, but can you do the one before that where he tags me? No, the one before that where he's like, if they have more when I go back, so I can thank him and tell him, and do you know what I'm saying?
Not that one.
Did he leave?
Here it is. Found it.
There we go. Hey, thank you, brother. Yeah, I'm not kidding. My shit for everything is literally it's not there. It's the @Dork Knight LV. So whether it's the Cash App or PayPal or whatever, and I'll pay you. I'll message you. You message me on Twitter. I'll send you the money. But I'd love one of those buckets if you can get one. So thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I love Mark's response here. Check this out. And then 6, of course, like those. Moss Vespa, a lot less scum and villainy. But yeah, I think we should. We're almost hitting 3 hours, man. We've gone way past. I had to sneak away when Tom came on, because I was like, we're gonna have to stay on for a few minutes if Tom's here. So I snuck away and took care of business. But I gotta tell you, it's time to wrap this show up. I'm getting bored with.
And better make it like prom night and wrap it up, brother.
Wrap it up.
Well, let me just say,
What you not ski?
Is that how I say your name, Gary?
No, it's Geary.
Geary.
That's the best way to say it. I find it funny, and because that's how my sister says it, Geary. And so, Culture Casino, and who else was doing it? Calling me Geary. Somebody else calling me. Yeah, I can't remember. I have brain farts. I'm old.
I just want to say it's nice meeting you, Nathan.
Likewise. Yeah.
You have lived up to pretty much everything Gary said about you, and I think you should seriously consider.
Well, once he loosens up, he'll get even funnier.
Well, hey,
he'll just say things. He wings comments and just fucking slay me. His posts and his private chat with me. He will write something, and I'll just fucking laugh so hard at what he just said, and I'm like, "You prick! You fucking cracked me up." And I find it so interesting because once again, to bring politics into the conversation, I have a lot of more friends that are liberal or Democrats, because I really dislike the word liberal because I think it's a misnomer. It's something that's misunderstood.
Well, I don't even think Democrat is the thing. You've got it's like a spectrum, like autism.
Well, there is a term. There is a term called blue dog Democrat, and I find most of my friends who are Democrats that I get along with are that way because I'm technically a Blue Dog Democrat. I'm a Hubert Humphrey Democrat.
What does that mean exactly? How far to the left are you?
That means I'm not very far left. That means that I believe in socialized programs, but within reason. I believe in fiscal budget.
So we're probably you're
very patriotic.
I've heard you trash on libertarians because I'm a libertarian.
Libertarians, dude.
You're a librarian?
You're a no, you know what?
I love the idea of a libertarian makes so much sense.
Dude,
keep your laws off of me. It's the basic idea behind the libertarian, and I agree with that. My problem with libertarians is who they get to run for them.
No, and I agree with that, bro. So I feel like
their beliefs I'm fine with, except for the whole a true libertarian is anti-strong military, which I will never.
Yeah, we don't want to be the world's police, you know.
Well, the problem is somebody needs to be prepared all the time, and we need to have a standing army to be prepared to go.
Hey man,
we learned that.
When was the last time we had a war with Germany? Like
that ended in 1945.
Yeah, and we still have fucking bases.
Although
there.
we don't like them to this day because
we still have bases there. I mean, I thought that shit was resolved. Like, why are we spending money? Why are we policing the world?
That is also
a libertarian
NATO.
point of
view. Do you know what
so
NATO is?
We should not talk about. Yeah, NATO was the biggest fucking mistake our government ever made, and I don't even. I'm gonna get canceled. I gotta go.
If you want peace,
you're not gonna get canceled, but you're gonna get me mocking you. It's all. I love you, buddy. I love you no matter what. But that is the end of this fucking show. Let's see if there's any chats I missed. Strong military doesn't mean we need to be. Yeah, exactly. Strong military is our own defense. What, buddy? You got to go.
Yeah, I really have to go. It's nice meeting you, Nathan, and everyone else. I will see everyone next Saturday. Gary, you know I love you, buddy, and Steven.
I kind of like you too. You're okay.
You kind of okay, as long as I'm okay.
Gary,
I'm going to go ahead and start the outro here, so you can actually disappear as it's doing that. Where's our outro? Where's our fucking outro?
Thank you, Nathan, for dealing with this.
Bye, Dustin.
There it is. All right, we are out of here. Bye, guys.
Hey guys, thanks for watching.
Anybody
Pop
that can
Culture
stick around
Minefield.
after the show, though, Nathan,
If you've enjoyed the show,
Mark,
please
all
make
you
sure
guys
to
can
like,
stick around
subscribe,
for the
and don't forget to click the bell icon for updates on our shows and channel. Also, please leave a comment, and we'd like to know what you thought of the episode, as well as letting us know if there's something you'd like us to cover in a future episode. Don't forget that you can become a member of Pop Culture Minefield now. Make sure to visit our membership page and merch store at popcultureminefield.com. You can always find Pop Culture Minefield on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch.
Janaski!
Y'all come back.